All right, are you ready for a Saturday edition of Pre-Show, Will?
Saturday. Yeah.
Those are the 3 days that we record typically. Been a while. 1 week and 1 day?
No, since we did a Saturday.
Oh. Yeah, it has been a while.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Maybe a month.
Feels like longer than that, but probably.
Yeah, well.
Around the holidays sometime, Saturday? Yeah.
I don't think anybody's keeping track, so.
I am, because it really throws me off.
You're obviously not keeping track then, because
it
you don't know when it was.
Yeah.
Saturday afternoon?
Yeah. This week
as opposed to working all day and then getting on here at 7 or 8 and then being on here for 6 hours.
Yeah.
It feels a little better at 4 p.m.
It really does, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've already been up for almost 10 hours now. So
yeah, I've been up I have been up 10 hours, about 10 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you do during your 10 hours of being up?
Sat and stared. I sat and stared.
Calm down.
I
stared at anything interesting, or just whatever was in front of your eyes?
Yeah, there was a television, and there were some images appearing on it, which was pretty good. Well, so I have been officially subscribed to Nebula now for maybe about a week, I think. Last weekend I started the free trial and officially made the first payment, I think 3 or 4 days ago.
What are you nebulizing so far, as they say? That's the phrase that they use on that.
Yeah, I've come across that many times now.
Isn't that like a medical device, a nebulizer for breathing?
I'll say yes.
See your doctor.
I'll say definitely yes, without any knowledge.
I think it is.
Of it. So I followed several channels. I haven't watched. Anything? There's a few of them I actually haven't watched anything from.
You just subscribed. I haven't.
There are a few that I have subscribed, but I haven't watched anything because I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting.
I haven't done. I don't think I'm subscribed to anything on Nebula.
Well, I subscribed to. Let's see, the one that you recommended, Jet Lag. I did subscribe to that, but I have not watched any yet. The one that a couple that I've been watching pretty consistently, there is 2 different TLDR news feeds. I follow one TLDR News UK, and there is a TLDR News Global. I follow both of those, and they usually, or the global one at least, usually posts like almost every day. That's like cool. A little 6 or 7 minute video, pretty much.
You're telling me stuff that I have never seen before, and I've been a subscriber to this platform for a couple years now.
Yeah, but that's not surprising to me though, because you've already said that you have only ever watched Jet Lag.
Yeah, I really
don't watch anything else on there.
Yeah, and it's
really
bad because I know that there's really good content on that platform. But I'll get to it.
I've mentioned on here maybe at some point probably, but there is a YouTube channel called EU Made Simple that I watch pretty like semi-regularly. They're on there, so I subscribe to him.
That's good.
And I did talk about it because I was like, I know that one for sure isn't AI because there's a human on screen talking to you about everything going on.
That was last week.
So he's on there. The one, so aside from those TLDR things, the other channel that I've found that I really appreciate that I didn't know previously was this lady, Tara Mooney.
Okay.
And she does a bunch of like kind of cultural related videos that I think are kind of interesting. She has a series that I thought was really interesting, and it's called Politics.
Oh.
And it's like these videos all about boobs and like culture surrounding boobs, essentially.
Okay.
There's like
interesting.
Her part 1.
I have a new show I'm gonna watch now.
It's the first video in the series is how Sydney Sweeney's breasts killed wokeness, Politics, and so it's about how like this politicization about Sydney Sweeney's boobs and how like the right wing have like
all over that.
Just decided to like make it like the left hates this.
Yeah, for whatever reason.
And the lady who does this video also she makes a lot of like really interesting points, but they're really interesting videos. But yeah, she talks a lot about like historically the
left has no boobs.
The right wing is like the more conservative women.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so they definitely, so she talked about like, yeah, this is obviously like because there's like evidence of her being a Republican, they've like opted her and like use her to push their agendas for stuff. And
I think the only evidence though
shit like that
was the jeans commercial, right?
People, I think, uncovered, allegedly, from what I understand, that she also was like registered as a Republican or something in her state. Something like that. Whatever that, if that means anything, who knows, whatever, who fucking cares.
Right.
But yeah, that's basically, so she kind of makes the point of like, if it wasn't for those things, the right would definitely be like shaming her and talking about how like, oh, why is she so slutty? She should be like blah, blah, blah. But because she like is possibly a Republican, then they all act like she's like the greatest thing.
Now.
And
yeah.
So, but no, it's really interesting. And it's not just like, the part that I'm talking about is kind of the most political centric part of the video where she talks about that stuff. The rest of it is really interesting, where it's like, it really breaks down this like weird, like disconnect in the culture now, where like over this one person basically. But she has other videos. Like there was one she did about breastfeeding and like the controversy that has arisen from people who want to like breastfeed in public and stuff like that. They're really interesting videos. I thought there's I think 4 or 5 in that series, but she has other videos. Like I just watched one this morning whenever I was staring. One of the things I stared at was a new video that she did.
I understand why now.
About tomboys. Where did they all go? And it's this thing about how like there's like not really much of a tomboy in quotation marks like culture now, where like she the whole video is kind of about like there was like a big thing, like tomboys were like all the rage in like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Sure, yeah.
And now there's not really much of a space where people like refer to themselves as a tomboy, and it was kind of about that and like why did that fall out of fashion, and like how did it come into fashion? And I don't know, her videos are really interesting. She does some of those kind of like very YouTuber edits to her videos that usually annoy me a lot, but she doesn't do it excessively.
Okay.
And her videos are interesting enough that I'm like, that's fine.
Boobs make it more palatable.
Well, the other videos too are fine.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
But yes. No, it's a really interesting channel. So I've watched multiple videos on that channel. There's a few history ones that I followed. There's one called Modern Conflicts.
I've seen those. Yeah.
Real-time history.
Yeah.
Mad Kings. There is one that I just started watching last night. They have 2 episodes so far, but it's called Day Pass. And it's this dude who is just like going to these different cities and like kind of just showing and taking like all of the public transit that the city has to offer, and showing the various modes of transportation, and like kind of gives you some history of how the public transportation evolved in this place. So he had an episode. The first episode was in France, and it was in, I can't remember the name of the city, but it was this town where like public transportation was actually fucking originated from.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And then the second video, which I just watched earlier this morning when I was staring, was in Luxembourg, where all of the public transit in the entire country is completely free. So he showed like the trams, the buses. He took a train from like Luxembourg City to another city, all completely for free. No cost whatsoever. There's these like electric buses that other countries have that would be cool to have here too. That look really neat. Where this one in the France video, took the electric bus, but he showed how it charges, where it like whenever it gets to its bus stop, there are these like, there's this contraption above where the bus parks at the bus stops.
Right.
And essentially it lowers down on top of the bus and it connects to this thing and it charges really quickly while it's sitting there at its stop.
So they're battery powered.
Yeah. And then this tram in Luxembourg that he showed, whenever it gets into the city, it disconnects from its lines because they built it he made the joke and it was done for a like just to not have wires
right
like through the city. And he makes the joke about like, yeah, you don't want to have like, we have all these like telephone poles and like all this like, but we couldn't have two wires going across.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting because the way that works is it's not battery powered. It disconnects, and essentially it has like just enough energy within it to get to its next stop. And when it gets to its next stop, there's a little contraption underneath it, in between the rails, that actually connects to it, and it basically like it like powers up the tram just enough to where it can get to its next stop, and it does it again, and it powers it up just enough.
So it's a small battery. It's not that it's no battery. It's just that
I don't remember how he explained what it was. I remember him saying that it's not battery powered. It's some other
flywheel.
I can't recall.
How are you storing that energy then?
I would have to watch it again. I don't recall.
I'll watch it because that actually sounds really interesting. It
is a Nebula exclusive, so you'll have to watch something other than jet lag on Nebula if you want to see it. Yeah.
I mean, I am paying for it. So
there's one other episode that says it's the finale, so it's apparently only a 3-episode series, unfortunately. But,
okay.
And that one comes out, I think,
it's a tease.
This week coming up, I think, at some point, it said. But yeah, it's been really interesting, and I hope they do more than just 3 episodes.
3, yeah. There's a YouTuber that I watch a lot of called Miles in Transit. He's becoming like more popular now, which is it's always weird for me because I have like really niche interests on YouTube. And I feel like I find YouTubers like right before they become sort of not mainstream, but like I guess more well known. So whenever like someone outside of the people who are just commenting on these videos talks about the creator, it's always kind of weird. And Miles in Transit, he's this I think he's out of college. I don't know if he's in college still or not. But anyway, he's a young adult, 20-something, early 20s. And his channel is all about taking public transit, but in like the most extreme ways sometimes, as far as like crossing the country using only public transit, stuff like that. It's really fascinating to see some of the places that he goes. He also does stuff outside of the U.S. as well.
Do you know the YouTube channel Not Just Bikes?
I think I've seen it, but I haven't watched anything.
Oh, okay. I have never heard of it. That's the dude that's doing this day pass. It's the same guy that does that channel apparently.
So Miles in Transit, I wish he was on Nebula because I think he would fit right in. But he's kind of his own thing now. But he's really blown up recently. Like he was featured on like Good Morning America, or like one of those type, cable, or not cable, but like broadcast news type programs for doing like he set the record for going from Mexico to Canada via public transit. There's a loud vehicle going by. Hi, loud vehicle. Okay. And but the reason I bring him up, I like his videos a lot and his style and the content, but he went to somewhere, I want to say it was like Ohio, somewhere in Ohio, like Dayton, maybe the Dayton area. It might have been Columbus area, but I think it was like, I can't recall. And watch it not even be Ohio, but it feels like it was
Nebraska.
Ohio. Well, it was someplace with public transit, and it was an electrified bus system where like the wires are above the street or whatever. But there was a similar setup in a place where, like they did. I don't recall if he said why there were no wires, but like occasionally the bus has to like divert from its normal path to go to like another bus stop or whatever, and they just didn't build wires to that area, so it literally just like drops the thing, the pole or whatever, and then drives on like backup battery power until it can get to its next source of energy or whatever. So you explaining that was like, oh yeah, that actually seems to be sort of a common workaround as far as not having the infrastructure where you need it to be. But it's also impossible to do in this country, so you can never do it.
That's right. It's a pretty good place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Luxembourg seemed really intriguing. Like that free transit. He kept like harping throughout the video about like it's like so fast. You don't have to like tap anything.
Yeah,
like, you don't have to wait for anything. You just fucking hop on it and then hop off. And he said that they're like constantly, there's like constant options. Like if you miss your bus, then you just have to wait like a couple more minutes and then the next one comes up. And so it's just there was also like I don't know. They were just really interesting. The French one was pretty wild. There was like a tram/train. It like turns from a train into a tram as well. It was pretty interesting to see as well.
There's one of those in Australia that I've seen. I can't remember what city now, but it has like its own. It's a bus, like a rubber tired bus, but it has its own pathway that is completely separate from any other road infrastructure. And whenever it's on this pathway, like I believe the driver does not have to steer the vehicle. Like there's like a guided path that some mechanism like makes the wheels, turn to steer the coach or whatever around the path. But it's sort of the same thing where it's kind of like a tram, but it's very much a bus. Yeah.
There's one that Experience Japan channel that I talked about where the dude doesn't talk and it's like subtitled and he just shows a bunch of this stuff.
Yeah.
There was a video where he showed this bus that turns into a train where it actually like drives onto tracks.
Oh yes, I've seen that. Yes. Yeah, it was like a single bus, like a
and the bus driver like just like pushes a button basically
and like wheels come down.
It connects to the tracks and then he just like holds on the gas pedal. He doesn't have to steer anything and then it comes back onto the regular road on afterwards. That's crazy.
I think I first came across that whenever Tom Scott went there.
Yeah.
A while back. So I need to definitely branch out more on Nebula. It's just the thing is like literally the only reason I got Nebula was because I was tired of waiting for the next episode of Jetlag to release on YouTube, because they released the same cut. Just, there's the ads that come in, of course, but it's the same cut, but they release it a week after they release it on Nebula. Mm-hmm. So I was watching on YouTube and I was getting really into this is a while back. I was really into the season and I was like, damn it, I don't want to wait another week to see where this is, like this cliffhanger ending sort of thing was. So I was like, I'll pay the, whatever it was, $5 at the time, $5 or $6, and get Nebula. Just so I could immediately watch the episode that I needed to watch. And then that evolved into me like, okay, I like this. I also like that the money's going, directly to the people creating the videos. There's not like some like AdSense, sort of thing. So I just decided at the time that I was needing to up my subscription, or like it was coming close to like needing to up it for like the next month or whatever. They released a deal where it was like lock in now a yearly price, and you're like locked into this lower price, but it's still yearly. So I was like, screw it, I might as well go ahead and just do the yearly subscription. So I'm getting it for very cheap, basically.
Yeah, half the price.
So that's why I'm still not too concerned about only watching one show. I'm basically paying like $3 a month to watch one show when it comes out.
Occasionally.
Yeah. Because it's only like 6 or 7. No, not even that. Like 5 or 6 episodes a season. So.
Yeah, I really like it quite a bit.
Good.
There's some other people, kind of like you were mentioning. There's some other people that I would like if they would like allow them onto the platform.
Yeah.
Because there's other channels that I like on YouTube that would be like, oh, that would be a great fit like that. The one that I've been watching those videos about, those like expeditions and stuff, I think that would be a really cool one to have on there.
Yeah.
But I guess not.
Yeah. If like Technology Connections was on there.
Apparently they used to be. I don't know why not now, but I read in many places that it used to be on there. Yeah.
Oh, really? So if that channel was on there, and then if I have like I only have like 1 or 2 others that are that are not on Nebula. The rest that I watch on YouTube are on Nebula. I just watch them on YouTube.
And you could just watch them on Nebula instead.
I could, yeah. But it's the whole flipping back and forth because of those other creators.
Yeah. That reminded me that I told you a while back that I had like subscribed to Taskmaster's like subscription thing they had.
Sure.
Well, I did.
Oh, cool.
They have like a subscription, like a streaming platform for Taskmaster.
Yes, you
like,
did mention
everything
this.
on there,
I recall this,
including like the other countries' variations and like Junior Taskmaster and shit like that, all on there. So that's where I had been watching it because I saw that it was like uncensored, and I had the versions on YouTube were censored. But then I found out just like last week that only seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4 are censored and not HD on YouTube. And I'm on like series 6 now. And I was like, well, fuck, I don't need to be paying for this then. I can just watch it for free on YouTube this whole time. So I've officially canceled that, and I've just been watching. I watched the first Champion of Champions, and then I think I've watched 4 episodes of series 6 so far.
You're still quite a ways behind, but yeah. That was whenever they
delightfully so. Yeah, I'm afraid of catching up.
They weren't on BBC before. They were on something else, I thought.
It was on like I think it's like ITV or Channel 4 or something.
Channel 4, I think, but I can't remember if that's what they're on now. And not before. But yeah, that's about the time that they changed. And I can't remember what they're on now, which is why they had like they're different. It was a different style of editing. I'll say not just like the censoring part, but there was also just a whole different style. Because there's at a certain point in time, they stopped going, or I guess maybe the TV show still goes to commercial break, but the YouTube version doesn't go to commercial. And that was something that I kind of missed because Alex would always do this weird like transition between the studio and like the throwing to commercial and then come back, and it was always fun to see that little creative moment, I guess. But that's since been cut from the YouTube version. So I don't know if they still do that on the TV version or not. But it was around that time that they transitioned from whatever channel they were on before to whatever channel they are now. That all like there were several changes, for better or worse. Yeah.
Well, so that app that I was watching it on cut those out as well. I remembered seeing some of those whenever I was watching I watched the first season on YouTube. But I also watch YouTube through a separate app that cuts out all of the ads, and it also cuts out the like other non-essential parts if you choose. And so every time one of those like commercial break transitions would happen, it would automatically skip past it and say like it cut out like intermission or whatever, like it labels it and skips past it. So I've actually maybe seen one of those ever, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, I know what you're talking about. So so I've been watching some of that. Taskmaster is fucking awesome. And like I said, I'm really not excited to ever catch up to real time because I like just having a seemingly endless tranche of Taskmaster to go through.
No, that was the same as I had whenever I first started it. I started and there were like 5 or 6 seasons out already. So it was very nice to, have like this whole pool of episodes I could just binge. I could binge a whole season almost a day. And then it was like, oh, I'm out. And then I got really caught up in having to wait until like the whole next season dropped. That was unfortunate. And then around the same time that they switched channels, I want to say there was also like an issue where like there was some rights issues where they didn't know if they could still have the show on YouTube or something. So there was a whole season where we, like us who have to watch it on YouTube, had to wait even longer than normal, and that really sucked. Yeah, so I definitely understand the benefit of having 14 extra seasons ahead of you.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the thing with the traders now at this point too, because they the UK traders, I think, started on January 1st in the UK, and the season ended like several weeks ago, but they're still not. I looked, and there's still not a date set for when it's going to be on Peacock in the US. Still.
I see.
So kind of in the same, just have to fucking wait for this season of the show to come out. So
Yeah.
But meanwhile, neither of us have seen seasons 1 or 2 of the UK Traders, so we still have 2 seasons to watch that we haven't started. So plan on doing that at some point.
More just staring at the TV. So you've been up for 10 hours and you did a lot of TV watching.
I watched an episode of Thundercats.
Okay.
And I watched a whole football match. And here I am.
Never seen either of those. Yep. I've heard of Thundercats.
Yeah.
I have no idea like what it's about. I don't know the concept of the show at all. I've just heard of it. Is there a cat involved?
There are multiple cat people.
Oh, they're cat people.
Yeah, they're very humanoid cat kind of
Is
people.
this animated?
Yeah.
Okay.
From the mid 80s, I think, early to mid 80s. That's whenever it aired. So it's very silly, and they're like space warrior cat people.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I just watched the first episode. I had seen, whenever I was a kid, I definitely had seen Thundercats before. I just have never watched it like episodically or in any kind of order or to know like anything.
Whatever was on. Yeah.
It was just like a few episodes I've seen on TV when I was a kid, and I had never seen it since. And so so I literally just watched the first episode this morning, and they had a fight with the bad guys, the mutants. They are not to be confused with the X-Men characters.
The mutants, are they some other animal human hybrid?
I don't know if they're specifically. They're kind of lizard-ish. I'd say they're kind of lizard-like.
Cats do chase lizards. That is true.
Yeah, and so they like invaded the Thundercats ship, and they're looking for this eye of whatever it's called thing.
So there's not a planet.
Not yet. And
so it's all just space-based.
At this point in the show, yes. And this eye of whatever it was called is within this sword that the Thundercats have, and it gives them their power and shit. And so this
so they're not they're not naturally created or born with any kind of ability. They
seem pretty swift and tough, at least.
Maybe their abilities are enhanced by this thing.
So the main guy who is this he starts out, he's kind of like basically a kid. He's kind of like a little gruff teen kind of character.
Kitten?
And the mutant, not that young.
Oh, okay.
the mutants are looking for this thing, and he's holding the sword, and he raises it up, and it gives him this power. Oh. And the mutant guys are like, "Fuck this!" and they all scramble out and get back on their own ship. And then there's this chubby cat thing that they have with that the Thundercats have with them, named Snarf. And
I've heard of Snarf.
Yes, okay. Snarf is like, "Yeah, leave Snarf to do it. Snarf.
Of course.
He's like an annoying little piece of shit.
So is it not a humanoid cat thing?
No, this one is
full cat,
more cat-like, but with almost like a dinosaur-esque tail at the end of it, sort of. It's weird.
People were high.
They're not. It's very much like that. It's what this show is like. So anyway, they eventually crash landed onto Earth. They went into cryo sleep and landed on Earth, crash landed on Earth, and they're all fucked up and confused. Our main little teen boy is a full adult now because cryo sleep slows their aging, but it doesn't stop their aging. So they aged slowly. So now he's a full grown man.
Wow.
And the mutants landed there shortly after. And they're like, "Oh, the rest of these Thundercats are still asleep. Let's fucking kill them." And he jumps down there to stop it. And Snarf finds the sword. And basically, a mini battle occurred. And then the episode was over, basically. So that's episode 1 of Thundercats.
Okay. I'm caught up.
Yeah,
now.
so I have a 129 more episode journey to go.
I could not. I would see that number. I would see that number and be like, "Nah, I'll just never know."
Absolutely, what I was kind of thinking. Also, it's 2 65 episode long seasons.
Oh my gosh!
Yep. So
65 episodes in a season.
That's per season. Yep.
So these so these seasons lasted more than a year. Or was there more than one episode a week?
Potentially, I don't know. I didn't look at the original air dates.
Wow.
I think there may have been more than one a week, but I can't say that.
That's back when we actually did things as humans.
Yeah.
This bullshit 8 episode season now, and then waiting 2 years before the next 8 come out.
Yep.
Never.
Things were different. So yeah, that's been my day. We were at war, and so there's that too. And that's been.
Well, we called that last week.
Pretty much the day. Yeah, I think everybody kind of did. Whenever the president had a meeting of peace where he said that we were going to attack another country.
Oh yeah, sure.
That was a bit of a giveaway, I guess. But
and I can't remember when it was that we said we were going to like
gas prices.
Yeah, we gambled on our bet on gas prices. I can't remember what the end date of that was.
Yes, that was for the release date of that episode, sometime in April.
Oh, okay. So we still got So we're still
it was what will the gas prices be when this episode airs is what the question was. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was thinking about that. I really was.
We've got time then.
Yeah, we have a couple months.
Yeah.
Or a little over a month, a month and a half or so.
Yeah, it's almost March now.
Yep,
February.
It's the last day of February, as it were. So what has your almost 10 hours been today?
Well, I woke up.
Yep. That's step one.
Didn't want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
But I did. And I decided, you know what? It's actually very nice today. I think it's almost 70. It's 65-ish here again today.
Oh, it's not that nice here, but yeah.
And it was yesterday too. Actually, the past 3 days have actually been very nice. Yeah. I'm supposed to get some more winter-like weather Sunday night, Monday though, I think. But anyway, so I was like, I'm going to take advantage. It's sunny. I haven't really done much outside. It seems like just because it's either been too cold or snowing or both, So it's I'm going to actually go out and do something in my workshop area. I got projects already piling up. It's going to be just forewarning. It's going to be a even busier year for me this year than it was last year.
Good.
I'm already looking at my schedule, going oh man.
Well, if we need another hiatus, then shall it be.
I've flirted.
If it happens, then it happens. So.
I've flirted with that idea. I would like to postpone. I'd like to put a hiatus on hiatus as much as possible.
Yeah.
For as long as possible. But it's definitely going to be a very busy year for me. Fortunately, but also as far as the podcast goes, just crazy. So I was I gotta get out and do something. I acquired some rather vintage X-ray equipment.
Oh yes, you were talking about hoping you could get this.
Yeah, so I acquired it, and it was much larger and heavier than I thought.
Ooh,
so there were 5 separate pieces. They were for looking at X-ray film or whatever, right? The thing that you put the sheet in and the light shines through it. Mm-hmm. So they're just these cabinets with lights. That's all they are. But because of their age, they're just a beastly design. That's the modern era has really lightened things up a lot. So I got 4 out of the 5 in my car, and I left the 5th one at the other guy's place. I was because he was giving them to me anyway because he didn't have room to store them. And I said, I'll take them. And like I said, I barely got 4 in my car. I was just I don't know how I'm going to get this out at home by myself. So
you called up your friend and you're like, these things are more of a beastly design than I expected.
More of a beastly design than they are modern times. So I was not expecting them to be the size that they were, just because the photos that were taken of them on the marketplace. I guess I don't know. Either I didn't pay attention, or there just wasn't much to scale them off of. I knew that they would not be full. I've seen bigger versions of these things, and I knew that they weren't that. But for some reason, I was thinking they were smaller, and that was really ignorant of me. I should have realized that clearly one slide of X-ray film is already a pretty big square footage, and you're going to need something even bigger than that to have a light in it and a whole frame and everything. So anyway, so they were much bigger, like dimensionally than I thought, and then they were massively heavier than I thought. I was like, why the hell are these things so heavy? So I've had them for over a week now, I believe, and they just been like in my garage, just on the floor. I was like, I gotta get these things tore apart. I have to take out the weight, and they're old like fluorescent fixtures inside, and I would like to convert them all to like LED. And then also while doing that, I kind of assumed I was like I'm betting that a lot of this weight is like all the equipment needed to run the fluorescent tubes, because there's usually like some kind of ballast. It's a big heavy brick of copper and whatever, and lead or iron. So I was like, usually that stuff is a lot of weight, and then whatever's left of the cabinet, as far as the cabinet's own weight, I'll have to deal with. So I opened the first one up, which was the heaviest one, and to my surprise, not only was it like a ballast that was the weight of this thing, but there were 4 lamps, and they were in pairs of 2, and each of the pairs were in explosion-proof cases. So this is common in like facilities where like there's oxygen or other gaseous fumes that might explode if like a light bulb were to pop, or like even like just a tiny little spark whenever you turn on a light. Like in every switch in your house, if you flick the switch on, there's a spark in that switch no matter what you do. There's always going to be a spark. That's just how the switch works. So you have to like completely seal all of that off from the outside atmosphere of the room or the building in what's called like an explosion-proof case. And they're like made of thick glass, and also like cast aluminum. So they're just a fucking solid thing. And there were 2 of these in there. Each of them had like a pair of bulbs. So I had to take those out, and I'm playing with those now. That's actually what I was doing before I got on here. But yeah, so that got rid of like 75% of the weight. And then I did that to all 4 of them. So that was my morning so far, was taking those apart. And then around noon, which I still have like some of that to do. They're not all completely disassembled, but they're close. But around noon-ish or noon 30, I finally got transportation and the right gear, I'll say, to transport a 200-pound tombstone to a grave that's been also in my garage for like 3 months now. For the simple fact that it was just too heavy to move on my own, and it's also either been like freezing cold or there's been a lot of snow on the ground. And I didn't want to put this on the ground whenever the ground was frozen, because I wanted to know like where the ground was going to be soft and, not have this thing sink. So I did that. So that only took like half an hour. So that's been my morning, as I moved a lot of heavy shit, and I disassembled something or several things. And then right before I got on with you, I was actually taking apart one of those explosion-proof lamp cases, because I want to see if I can't make it watertight, and put like a bubbler inside of it. And bloop, bloop, bloop. Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, faster than that. But then also put the light back inside, so that a light, like an LED light, like shines through some bubbly water, like a science fiction device. So,
I got a photo from Will.
Yes, you did, of these explosion-proof cases.
Yeah,
and those are like 2 foot tall, and like they weigh like 20 pounds each.
Yeah, they look like it
for just a light bulb. And the reason it's so bulky and cumbersome is just because you have to like figure out, which it was awesome to take these things apart just to see how they were engineered to simply keep as many of the components as possible separate from the outside, but also still being able to service the equipment so that you can change a tube, you can, rewire it, whatever. So you have to have access to things, but then everything you have access to has to be like a threaded opening so that way it can be airtight. So yeah, it was really fascinating to kind of start to dig into one of these. And I felt kind of bad because I was like, man, I'm going to like destroy all this hard work just to put like a fucking like 2-cent LED in it. But
did you like thank the heavens for this contraption like a Native American about to disembowel a bison?
I should have, and I didn't.
Like respect each piece
individually.
No, I didn't.
I should have though. You're right.
That's disgraceful.
Yeah, it is. I mean, my ancestors are some creature of the north is going to come down and destroy me. But I don't plan on using the pieces separately. How about that? Mm-hmm. I plan on putting it back. It'll still look and function as though it was never altered, but the internals. So I'm turning the soul out of it only.
Yeah, that's it's a little better.
It is.
I think.
And I'm not benefiting from this at all.
The cosmic impact. Yeah, yeah. I guess that maybe, I don't know if that is a benefit or a negative, really.
Well, yeah. I guess we'll see. I'm doing this for someone else, so
yeah.
So it's not for me.
Kind of charitable in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you're doing it for free. But,
I am. Yes, I am.
So it is literally charitable.
Yes,
charitable.
Yeah. But I guess there could still be like a transitive property of curse, where where even though someone else is benefiting from this, it still passes through to me. Because I'm the one that did it or something. I'm not sure how that works. But like I said, we're
kind of out of our element on this one.
Very, always. But it was really cool to see how this thing was like engineered. I was really kind of blown away. There's So, right before I got on, like, I finally got everything that I needed to get out of the insides of this contraption out, because I wanted to see. I was like, is this watertight? It's clearly like airtight. But those aren't the same thing. Air and watertight are far apart. So I was like, how not watertight is this? And how much work is it going to take to make this watertight? So one of the things that I first noticed on the bottom of this contraption, there are these two caps, metal screw caps. And there's also two on the top as well. But these screw caps are all threaded. That way you can get access to like the light bulb inside or a couple of the wiring components or whatever, but then you screw them back on to make it airtight. But the ones on the bottom had like this, and this would be a way better visual, but I'm going to try to explain it anyway. Imagine a big donut of metal, and then the center of that donut is filled with compressed copper wire. So little strands, just standing on the tip, not on the side, but little strands standing on their tips, all compressed together in the middle of this donut. And I saw this, and I'm like, and also the donut says on there, it's like cast into the metal. It says, "Do not paint." And I'm thinking, okay, what is this? What is the function of this device that is supposed to be airtight? What is this weird like copper mesh? Like you can't see through it. No light comes through it. The copper wires are very close together, and they're all like, I think, just compressed. Like there's no adhesive or anything holding them together. There's just so many fit into the middle of this donut that they're all squishing to the sides, and that's what's keeping them inside. So I was like, what the hell is this? And at the time I didn't realize how permeable this section was. I was just like, this is interesting that they put copper here. I was thinking like maybe it was like a way to tell if there had been some kind of explosion inside of the device, like this is like the weakest spot, so this would break before the glass broke, type thing. Like maybe like that's kind of where my brain was going. I was like, I don't know, like what, and maybe it still is, I don't know, but I still couldn't really figure out why just these two caps on the bottom were like this, whereas the caps on the top were all solid steel or solid aluminum. So there's no holes in them. Once they're screwed tight, they're airtight. So I got everything tore apart, and I'm like counting down the time because I told you, hey, I'll be on in 10 minutes. and then that took longer. I still had to do some other things. But anyway, so like the last thing that I did was I went inside and got a bowl full of water, like a big bowl full of water, like a popcorn bowl full of water. And I was just going to like just fucking pour it in the damn like glass tube and just, my plan was I was like, I'm going to go in and record, and then I'll come back out and I'll see if there's been any leakage, over the course of like an hour or two. So I pour this water in, and immediately just like fucking just a waterfall at the bottom. And I'm like, where's this coming from? So I lifted up as carefully as I could, and like through this copper, not membrane, but I guess that's like substrate, I guess, or whatever. All this water's coming out. So now I'm thinking that maybe this is some kind of like moisture thing where it allows moisture to pass through this section without, so it doesn't get inside, trapped inside if there's ever any kind of moisture. That's all I can think of. Because otherwise it's like this whole giant device is built to have a completely separate atmosphere from the room that's in, yet there's like an 1/8 inch barrier that everything can pass through. So I'm thinking like these really aren't like that explosion proof. I don't know. So I'm still kind of baffled by that, but yeah, so all the water just all over my garage, just like, so much water. So
you should start your own YouTube channel, Technology Disconnections,
wow,
where you like disassemble things, but you don't teach anything. You're just like confused.
You're
by
just
the
lost.
Pieces. You're just like,
well, that's the thing too.
Your channel is just you asking like, does anybody know what the fuck this is, or like what its purpose is?
The amount of screws that I've taken out of just this one thing. I have a slightly organized separation of piles of screws now. I'm just like, and as I was taking all these screws out, I was like, I'm never going to recall where these screws go. It's like, I'm going to try my best to sort them by size, because they are all different sizes. And I was like, maybe, I can like process of elimination, be like, well, this one doesn't fit here, so it must go somewhere else. But there are like a ton of screws, like everything is screw. And yeah, I just was like, I know I'm going to be like, I don't remember where any of these go. And that was part of me sitting there feeling bad about having to take all this stuff apart.
Yeah.
Because one, like the engineering was really great. And like the engineering as far as like, they had to engineer this thing for serviceability. So like, it's one thing, like, especially with like modern vehicles, like modern vehicles are engineered to work, but they're not engineered to be fixed, right? So there's a lot of shit that's just put next to other shit that makes it impossible to work on anything unless you get rid of all that shit or have a specialty tool or whatever, right? But these are not that. Like, these are clearly designed for like whatever maintenance man or like, janitorial guy or gal in a facility can just come and just fix it, right? But it also has to be to a certain standard of safety. So it's really cool to see this thing, like how they manufactured it or cast it, I guess, to to be both a really smartly and well engineered safety device, but also like anybody can fix it or change a light bulb or whatever, So it's that's kind of cool, and I think that's like not a lost art, but like there's a lost drive to still have that same, level of craftsmanship, because it's either, hey, anyone can get in here and fix it, but also it's going to fall apart if you touch anything, or we're going to design it into an inch of its life and you can't do anything with it without destroying it or needing, to replace most of it or whatever. So
yeah.
It's been cool. I'm still confused about the copper part of it though. So,
well, I hope you find the answers you desperately need.
Research that tonight, I think, because I'm really curious as to like what that is or what that intention was. And maybe I'm just like, I could be wrong. I could be wrong that it's completely atmospherically isolated from wherever. Maybe it is more permeable than I think as far as gas goes. And maybe this is just like, to lower the chance of explosion. Not so even though it says explosion proof on it, maybe this is just like, we'll get you 95% of the way there, but yeah.
It's unlikely there will be an explosion possible.
Yeah. I've seen these. I've seen ones for like big, like 4 foot, like full size fluorescent tubes that you would see in like a warehouse or an office, But those were in an explosives bunker. So those were like, I understood why those were there, but these were in a X-ray cabinet, and the only thing I could, because out of the 5, only 2 of them had this device. The other ones are just regular bulbs and totally hazardous as far as explosions go. just loose wires everywhere, sparks flying.
Oh, good.
So I don't really know why these 2 were designed this way. I don't know if maybe they're like for an operating room, and the other ones are like for like an office where there's no oxygen supply. Maybe that's all I can figure. But yeah,
beats the fudge out of me.
But they're really kind of cool. Like I said, the actual X-ray cabinets or whatever, they're older. I would say probably from like the 70s, possibly. So they're showing their age a little bit, but they still function whenever I got them, and they don't anymore. Yeah. But I've totally ripped out everything.
Yep,
as far as
the
that
soul's
goes.
Gone.
And I got now I have to rebuild them, so I have to like electrically. And that was again going back to the explosion-proof thing.
Yeah,
admiring the craftsmanship of how it was put together, but also admiring like the electrical work and being like, I'm going to tear all this out only to have to put it all back again. So part of me was like, do I need to tear all of this out? Is there any part of this that I can keep? And unfortunately, if I go down the path of trying to add water and bubbles, which is, I think, really a stupid path for me to go down, I shouldn't really be doing that. I think it's not necessary. It's going to be a lot of hard work to get it to be watertight. But at the time, I didn't realize how water not tight it was. So I was like, well, I do need to tear all this out, because like it was back from a time whenever wires were like wrapped in like fabric, not like wrapped in like, like we're used to seeing like electrical wires wrapped in like plastic or rubber. Now this was like fabric, like fabric was wrapped around the wires. And I was like, this is just going to soak in water.
Yeah.
I can't have that. So yeah, so I had to tear everything out. But anyway, so all for haunted houses.
Yeah, one of us has had a slightly more productive morning.
A lot less staring on my end.
Yeah, there's a lot of staring here. Well, I did want to make a clarification from something from last week.
Oh, correction.
Where, no, okay. I think just a clarification. Because I had talked about the journey of Captain James Cook.
Oh yes,
and I labeled him my favorite explorer. But I did want to just clarify
and
that
I was like, "Are you sure?"
I did want to just clarify that I just meant that in terms of like a fascinating tale,
not as in like you set your morals and ethics upon this.
Is a man who did no harm. Yeah, yes. I did. So I did want to definitely make a clarification on that I don't think I did last week. Cause,
I was trying to allude to that, but I also didn't know as much as you.
Well, no, but there was in the story that I watched. Again, I've only heard this story from one source. I haven't read any of the books or anything about him, but there did seem to be a lot about him that was like I mentioned last week about him kind of understanding like there are great cultural differences between me and like these people, and like they don't understand these things, or like we have different beliefs and whatnot, and so whenever they do something, it's not necessarily out of malice, and so we shouldn't retaliate like that. Yeah, but there's also, like I said, there was definitely still parts in this journey where they absolutely retaliated horrifically and violently, and then also just the whole just like in discovering, in quotation marks, discovering things in these places, they introduced things to other white settlers who could say, oh, we should go there and like raid and destroy all this stuff. And he from the video that I watched, it seemed like he was also kind of conscious of that, and what the video described, where he was kind of in his writings was kind of talking about like, I don't know if there's any positive benefit for these people from us visiting here. Like, it seemed like he kind of was reflecting on some of that stuff. And so it was interesting to hear something like that from one of these people. I'd never heard of any like explorer or expedition where the captain is like, I think we're causing more harm than good.
Yeah.
I've never heard
aware
of any
of that. Of the fallout potential. Yeah.
Because there was like a part where they landed on modern day Alaska, and there was a tribe that was there that had never seen Europeans before.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up like, as with like all of these stops, Cook was very much like forthcoming, and he would just like walk off of his ship and walk right up to the villagers.
Hey, how's it going?
With no weapons, unarmed. He would just like
Howdy,
walk up
neighbor.
to them, because he had a belief like, as people, we can find like a commonality and like a connection.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't need to just like resort to instant fucking violence. I can just like peacefully walk up. He like fucking ballsy for one to do that, because a lot of these places he stopped at, they would like arm themselves because they're like, who the fuck are you?
What are
and
you?
He would just unarmed walk up to them and like try to talk. But anyway, he visited these people, and they ended up kind of like friendly communication as best as they could, and they ended up kind of trading things back and forth. And some of the things they got from these natives were otter pelts.
Oh.
And the people on this expedition had written about like, these things are fucking great. These otter pelts, these are way warmer than any shit we have.
Get you some.
And because of that, though, they got back to England later on and told everybody about these, and like showed everybody these otter pelts. And people in England were like, oh, fuck yeah. And a whole bunch of fucking white people went up there, and they almost drove the otters to extinction in the area, almost entirely. And it was interesting, like, according to the video, from oral traditions passed down from the natives that were there.
Mm-hmm.
According to their like passed down stories, the people who saw Cook and his people thought that they were like salmon that had transformed into humans, because they had never seen people like so white, like light complexion before. And yeah, so I thought that was really funny. They thought they were salmon humans. But
salmon are talking.
But yeah, I did want to make that clarification that I'm not saying he was a great person or did. I mean, it's just a fascinating story. I was just like, really, it captured my imagination.
I don't know if the clarification was necessary. I feel like, at least for me, it was understood that you were just saying that as far as European exploring goes.
Like, just that this guy's story is fucking wild.
Yeah, you weren't saying like, as far as all humanity, this guy is the one to look up to. You were, yeah.
Well, there was. I was so fascinated by the story that there is an eventual vacation I want to take.
Oh,
to Hawaii to visit the spot where he was killed.
Oh, okay.
On the Big Island. Because I think at the time that we recorded, I don't remember if I think I hadn't finished the story yet. I think still
he
had
just got there.
A little bit left. Yeah, so basically he came to this island, the Big Island of Hawaii, and he like had circled the island, kind of like geographically was like examining it, but also was trying to find like a good place to land.
Right, yeah. For ship.
But he also was like a map maker and was really interested in the geography of stuff. And this was a place that nobody knew existed. And so he was kind of like making notes about it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they ended up landing in this like kind of cove. And there were apparently like thousands of natives that were in this spot. And he landed, and they like instantly began treating him like he was like a deity, basically.
Oh, wow.
And come to find out, allegedly, and the video also clarifies, like, we can't say for certain what these people were thinking whenever they landed, but there's some evidence that suggests they possibly thought that he was this like specific god like this god that they believed in of like peace or something, because they were actually doing like a ceremony at the time.
Shit, the timing
for this god. And in their
he just shows up.
In their tradition, apparently, this god was supposed to like make a return. And in the story, the god would like circle the island before landing. And like by complete accident and coincidence, they happened to land at the time that this ceremony was happening.
Wow.
And so all of these natives are like,
fucking
holy
mind
shit,
would be blown.
like, this is it. Because they had also never seen a ship like this before.
Sure, yeah.
Or people that looked like this and like all this stuff. So they were just like fucking blown away. And so he was like greeted greatly. Things were going good. They hung out there for a while. Like over time, it said that like the natives started behaving a little bit more casually.
Maybe
like
this guy isn't a god.
There was kind of that kind of vibe, but eventually, so like his crew like kept starting shit with people, because again, these natives would just like take stuff off the ship and they were like blown away by all this stuff.
Yeah.
And his crew is just like, these fucking assholes are stealing our shit. And so tensions kind of started to get a little hairy, and he was like, okay, we don't want to make enemies. Let's just get out of here. Mm-hmm. And so they left the island, but they quickly, because his plan was that they were going to leave the island and they were going to go back up toward Alaska, because they were looking for the Northwest Passage.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And
they had gone up there already, and they had to turn back because there was so much ice that they couldn't get through. So he wanted to so he went back. The plan was to go back to that Hawaiian island that they found, and then like later on into the summer or whatever, like a month or two later, like go back up there and see if we can get back through.
Yeah.
So his plan was, all right, we've like pissed these people off enough. Let's just go ahead and go.
Get out of here.
And so they left to go back up toward Alaska, but there was still repairs that needed to be done on the ship or whatever. And so they were like, fuck, like we can't go up there with the ship like this. Let's just try to go back, and like we have to go back and try to get these repairs. And so basically, yeah, they showed up, and from the video I watched, it said that the natives were instantly kind of like annoyed, and they were like, why the fuck are you back here?
We didn't perform
is the sense that there was like, you're not supposed to come back again. And so tensions were kind of high, but they were kind of like, we just need to repair our ship. And so all these natives are kind of like, why can't he just, like, why would he need to repair his ship?
He's God.
He's
a
exactly
God. Yeah.
That was kind of the sense that there was. So some weird shit was going on. One night, overnight, one of these natives or some of these natives stole one of the lifeboats that they had mm-hmm. from the ship. Like they cut the rope to it and took it. And that was like the final straw for him. He like snapped, because he was like, for one thing, this isn't my property. This belongs to the Royal Navy or whatever.
Right. Okay.
For another thing, that thing was actually imperative to this trip that we're about to go on. Like, we need that.
It's important. Yeah.
And so he got pissed off, and there was a lot of agitation, and he had a plan where he was going to essentially lure their like king mm-hmm. or chief, like leader, the leader of this native tribe. He was going to lure the leader of them onto their ship, and he was essentially going to hold him for ransom to get the boat back, is what his ill-conceived plan was.
Do you think that they understood the concept of this?
They didn't get this far. So he gets to the like chief or king, whatever it was, of this tribe, mm-hmm. and is like having him like come onto the ship, and this leader is kind of like, sure, like no problem, like there's not really an issue. And so he's trying to lead them up there, but the natives, all the rest of the people, think that he is going to kill him.
Oh, not good.
And so they kind of swarm, and Cook has like riflemen set up offshore, like in case something happens while he's trying to get this chief. And then he has like a few other dudes that were kind of with him. And essentially he was giving a signal, because the natives kind of come up and they're like pissed off because they think he's going to kill their leader. And he gives a signal to his guys back there, like, hold off. But they thought that he was saying fire.
Oh.
And so they shot, and the natives just went fucking berserk.
Well, sure.
And essentially a tussle started. Some of his soldiers that were with him, like, darted out toward the water to, like, get onto, like, one of the little boats that they had set up offshore. Some of them got murdered.
What did the islanders have as far as weaponry? Did it mention this?
They had spears and like daggers, essentially, is what it seemed like.
So and more like hand to hand. They couldn't really, like,
and stones.
I guess okay, so maybe they could toss some things, I guess, but
yeah. So there were like British soldiers on this expedition that got like there was like one guy that they mentioned that was like running through the water to get to one of the boats to safety, and the villagers like fucking they hit him in the head with a rock, like threw one and like knocked him down, and then they fucking just like beat him to death, essentially.
Oh gosh.
And Cook essentially it seemed like he thought, again, this is all just based on the video, and he cited his sources or whatever. So anyway, it seemed like he kind of thought he could try to smooth things over. So he was still, he hadn't drawn his weapon.
Out, guys.
He also has like a sword, I believe, and or gun with him. And so he hasn't like drawn any weapon, and he is still kind of like trying to show like, stop.
No,
more or less.
Now, for the listeners, you're holding your hands up as if you're being arrested by police. Is that what he did, or like what was? Is there?
I don't remember if there was any mention specifically of like his hand motions.
I'm just curious, like back in this time period, like what was the sign for like I'm not going to do anything.
I think there were paintings that they showed
with his hands up. Yeah,
I think so. Or not, maybe, I don't know about this specific instance,
arms
but
open,
like
maybe?
whenever he would like approach natives at these places, he would approach them like and make it clear that he didn't have any weaponry.
Well, he would make it clear to someone who understood what he was doing.
Yeah.
As far as they're concerned, this guy is just walking towards them with his hands, like, in a weird position.
Yeah. So
about ready to like, throw lightning bolts from his hands or something. That's what.
Well, to wrap it up more quickly, he eventually was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
and he tried to make a run for it, but a villager had like stabbed him on like the shoulder, like the back of one of his shoulders.
Yeah,
and then in the neck.
Ooh.
And he had like collapsed down, and essentially, so the way they described it in the video also is that like from the perspective of these natives, this was like a huge like risk that this guy took, because at this point they still are like, this guy could be a god. We don't know for sure.
We could be fucking up.
And so this dude stabbed him, and that kind of confirmed like, oh yeah,
Kyle, what did you do?
And so essentially he had like fallen over, and a bunch of them like stabbed and beat him to death. And there is a painting. There are multiple paintings of like the killing of James Cook, but there is like, I think only one of these paintings was done by like a person who actually witnessed it.
Oh wow!
Like a firsthand thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting. But anyway, all of this to say, there is actually like a plaque on this island of the spot where he was killed, and I really would like to go see that. I think that's fascinating.
Kind of cool, yeah.
There is like a little monument thing on the shore about him, and there is like, I saw on Google like images or whatever, or like on the street view, or you can find it on Google Maps, and like there's reviews for it.
Yeah.
And there are pictures that people have taken of. There's like a little plaque that says like, this is the spot where James Cook died on whatever date. It's like kind of in the water almost.
This is the spot where man was found to not be a god.
Yeah, exactly. And so the town actually where this is actually called Captain Cook, Hawaii.
Oh, that's just mocking him now.
So and it's like 30 minutes away from the airport on the island.
Okay.
So I really one day would like to, I think, fly to Hawaii, and I would really love to go visit that spot. Cool, I think that'd be fascinating.
Yeah.
And you have to get to that spot on the shore, you have to take this like almost 2-mile hike. That also looks like it would be gorgeous.
Of course.
I would love to.
Everything
love to go there one
over
day.
There is just amazing to look at. I've been there once, not on the Big Island, but everything's just amazing to look at. I mean, it's as beautiful as all the pictures seem. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine so. Yeah, I'd like to go there at some point. But leading up to, I did want to say that I think that story was surpassed by the other story that I had heard.
Before we move on to the other subject, though, I want to close off this. So, you said that Cook arrived on the Big Island, and he was immediately thought to be this deity, which is kind of crazy as far as like the timing, and that's just like insane. And then he approached the islanders, the natives, as a peaceful individual, like in some gesture of I'm not doing anything fast or whatever. But I was under the assumption whenever you first were telling me this that he tried to downplay the assumption that he was a deity. But it seems like maybe that wasn't the case, or could he just not convince them?
Well, there was specific mention of that actually in this video, from what I remember, where it seemed like, according to what the others on the crew had written, I think, and I think based on also his writings, the video talked about how it seemed like he was fairly uncomfortable.
I'm sure.
So the way that they would represent this was like they all like bowed down, like knelt down before him whenever he landed on, like stepped onto the island, and like none of them would like look up at him. They would not make eye contact. And they talked about in the video how he kind of was like trying to tell people like it's fine.
you can look.
So it did seem like that, but then they also kind of said like it seemed like he also kind of at some point decided to kind of lean into it, because it seemed like they could use it for their benefit.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
To kind of like try to keep the peace, if for nothing else. So yeah, it seemed like that.
Because to go from this perspective of, holy shit, it's real. The thing that I've only had maybe, proof by proxy, I'll say, evidence of, like we do something and then a couple days later an event happens, or or over the course of that year it rains more, or whatever simple as far as praying to a god evidence you can have, to this moment where you're doing the thing and then the dude shows up, or at least in your mind, the guy who you're doing the thing for shows up. Like, that's like the ultimate proof that whatever you believe in is real. To go from that mindset, your whole culture's based on this, to then one of you decides to stab the guy in the shoulder. That is insane to think about. Like, just because whenever you said that, like, they weren't sure if they were screwing up by killing him, because it's like maybe he still is. Maybe this is like, a test or whatever, and that had to be just crazy cult, like for their whole culture in that moment. Yeah. And then, so whenever they killed him, did it talk about, was everyone pretty much understanding then that he was not a deity? Or were there still people who were like, I don't know?
From the way it was described, it was pretty much like once that dude stabbed him the first time, that pretty much confirmed it, because otherwise it would have been like he can't be hurt.
Okay.
And the fact that he got hurt from being...
Yeah.
Now that you're asking me that, I remember specifically, it was in the video, they talked about like, it was something along the lines of like, if he screams in pain, then that proves that he's just a man or some shit like that.
Goodness.
But if he's completely fine, then that means he's not.
Wow.
And they stabbed him and he dropped.
So he's like trying so hard not to scream. He's like, I'm fine.
Didn't even hurt.
Do it again just to be sure. No, I'm telling you, I'm shaking it off. This is nothing.
It's just, this, yeah, I don't know, that story just like really captured my imagination. But also just like whenever I hear stories like that, I try to just imagine, because of course in 2026, whenever you're hearing the story, it's just like almost like a movie in your head, and you're just like, wow, that's crazy. But then, but I always try to like think of being one of the people that was like on the ship watching this happen, and like this guy, the captain of your ship, or like some of these people had worked with him on his like last 2 expeditions and stuff like that, and like seeing him on the shore get like murdered by these natives, or from the perspective of the natives also, like these fucking weird white people that showed up and we don't know where they came from or who they are. So I always try to put myself in like the mindset of like whoever, of the person who is there actually witnessing this. Like you're in this ship off the Hawaiian Islands, nobody knew that this place existed, and just like imagine like actually being there looking at this happen. It's just like mind-boggling to me. I can't even imagine.
Did it speak about what the islanders thought the crew were in relation to Cook being a deity?
I don't remember if they did or not. I don't remember that coming up, but I don't.
Did they treat the rest of the crew the same way as far as bowing and?
I don't know. I don't recall. Not that I remember.
And then once Cook was killed, how did the crew get away?
Well, a lot of them had already escaped onto like their boats or onto the ship.
So they just had to make.
There were plenty of other people that never got off of the ships in the first place.
But those
he only had like 10 people with him or something.
Those on the ship, they had to make the decision to just leave him?
Yeah.
Or did they go get his body?
They wanted to,
I bet,
but the body had been dismembered.
The body was many places.
They talked about there was like conversation of retaliation or not, and there also was it said there was indication from some of the natives that this wasn't what they wanted to happen, you know?
Right.
Like there was some of them had written, there was writings in the journals from some of these people on the crew that night, I think, 2 young villagers actually swam to the ship and climbed on board it, and they just like sat on the edge of the ship and like sang.
Oh, wow.
And the people on the crew had written about that, and they were just like this was like very touching, and it's like insane that they even thought to do this.
So they took that as a moment of remorse for what had happened. When when in reality it could have just also been just them mocking the crew. You are cowards, and we will kill you all.
So yeah, they did at some point they did approach the natives again to try to get the remains of the people who were killed, and basically more or less they returned like what was left of them.
Okay.
So it was like at first they only had like a piece of Cook's thigh or something is what they had received.
So really torn apart.
And like a part of his skull or something like that. And then like later on they received the rest of like what was said to be his remains. It was like his jaw and like a few other stuff like that.
He was really destroyed then.
And it said that they had like did like a burial at sea with like whatever was left of his remains.
Right, sure,
later.
Yeah. So you mentioned that like in today's perspective, hearing something like this, seems very much like a movie, a fictional tale. Like that's the only thing that you can really, put yourself into.
That's how, at least how I always feel with all these historical stories, where like even another one that I've always thought of is like the killing of Lincoln at the theater, right? I always struggle to even fathom like what was it like to fucking be at the theater, because you hear about Lincoln being killed and it's very much just like that's like a story of a thing that happened one time, and you kind of just like, he got shot in the head and the guy ran out. But I have often I have wondered what it's like to have been a person witness who was just like imagining being at the theater and that happened. And like,
I'm sure
something
even
crazy to even imagine to me.
Yeah, no,
because it seems it's like such like a fable kind of thing. That like it's crazy to imagine that
I'm
this
with
was
you
an
on
actual
all this.
event that happened.
Yeah. I mean, I agree that all these tales, it very much seems like a movie as far as it's hard to really. So but what I was going for was to me, hearing stuff like this with like Cook arriving, or even like the Alaskan tribe that thought he was a weird salmon hybrid or whatever, right?
These pasty white people must be salmon people.
But like the only thing that I can come up with as far as like I'm trying to like put myself like, what would that feel like, or what would that be like to be from their perspective, seeing something completely new, or seeing what you think is a deity or whatever. Like movies one thing, but I think honestly, like, I mean, clearly I haven't lived this yet, but the only thing I could like even come close to being like what that must feel like would be like an alien invasion. Like I don't even think I could even come close to like a movie, because a movie to me is still it's still like there's still that separation, I guess, where it still seems like it's all supposed to be happening, or like there's some like plan behind it, right? But you were explaining that, especially with like the salmon people perspective, and I was just like, that has to be what it's, I guess, eventually, maybe for some species somewhere in the universe, but it has to be like what it's sort of like for an alien to just, because that's what it was. I mean, these tribes did not know where these creatures came from, what their purpose was, what they were.
They were perplexed by the hats, like their hats that they had. That was actually specifically something that was noted. They thought that his head, they thought that was part of his head.
Oh,
right.
Was
like shaped like
that way. Yeah. Sure. And and then like the craft that these creatures arrived on, and came from, like that's all just like, that's a dude telling you about aliens.
These tribes all have like canoes, basically.
Oh, sure,
they had. And and so they see that giant like British army ship or navy.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing as like us saying, we have airplanes and rockets, but if we, if there was to be any sort of, alien spaceship as we've imagined in movies or TV or whatever, it would feel the same way, where it's like it's familiar enough that we understand it's a mode of transportation, but otherworldly in the sense that we have nothing like it, or have never seen anything like it. So that's the only thing I can imagine the perspective being from the tribes. Now, from the like crew, I don't even know how I would comprehend arriving someplace, seeing people react to me as if I was completely from another realm, or being like related to a deity or something. I don't even know how I would react to that, as far as that. I mean, I just don't know. And also, like the cultural difference too, of knowing that there's a cultural difference, but not knowing what that difference is, and how do I do anything? Because like a hand gesture, or me smiling with my teeth or something like that, could be offensive, or it could be a sign that I'm, going to give them wealth, or whatever the weird, thing is. Like there's so much of that I can't even fathom. So to say that it's,
that's why a lot of his crew wrote about like how fucking crazy it is that he would just like walk up to these people like seemingly without
with arms wide open,
care,
yeah,
and just hope for the best,
right? Yeah, it just yeah. These tribe have passed down for generations the lore of the demonic evil entity that walks on the sand with its arms spread, and this guy comes off a boat and is just like, "Hey, how's it going?" And we're like, "Oh my god, it's real!"
Stab it!
Yeah. We're all cursed now. Wild. Yeah. So all that, and the fact too that at some point, like I guess there's still like that one tribe in the Amazon or something.
Yeah, in the Amazon.
Yeah, that like hasn't been contacted supposedly by anyone.
Yeah, there's like photographs of them that have been taken, but it's allegedly they've never been into contact with any outsiders.
I guess like that's like the last group of people on Earth probably that fit into this possibility, right? Of being completely devoid of any kind of knowledge of what's out there. But I wonder like how far I guess what I'm trying to say is when was the tipping point as far as a majority of people knew about all of the Earth? I'm really curious as to when that was, and like what helped to speed that up, because we could say now like the internet, or like radio, or the telegraph, or like the written word or whatever. But I'm sure there was some point in time where there was still a vast majority of the world did not know about the rest of the world. Unless a guy on a ship came and visited you for a map. Like I wonder when that was.
Yeah, I don't know. That had to have been, if not it, then close to it, because
around the tipping point, yeah.
Because that whenever he landed in that Alaskan area, that like nobody knew anything about that area.
Yeah,
like there hadn't been any maps made of that area. They didn't know for sure what was there. That's why they were on an expedition looking for that passage.
Was it communicated to the tribe or any of the tribes that you said that there were like a dozen or so on this ship?
Oh, I think there were more than that. I don't remember how many were on the expedition.
50.
It was dozens.
Let's just say 50 as like a number. Okay.
Yeah.
Was it ever communicated that these were not the only 50?
I don't know that.
Because I'm also curious
to my knowledge,
as to that, as like, as far as just having the communication barrier.
There's more of us back home.
Yeah, like we came from a place that you don't know about, and we're and there's millions of us, and there's only like 40 of you on this tiny little island or whatever. Because I also can't imagine what it must have been like to see these new creatures disembark from this craft, and if they did communicate that there were more of them. I can't imagine like what that must have been like too, because again, like from their perspective, from anyone's perspective in this time, you only know where you've been, and some of these islands and places are so remote that there's not many places you've ever been. So to suddenly be told that there's this huge other place, I just don't understand. I can't understand that.
Yeah, I agree.
So as far as it being like a movie, again, like I agree that like that's probably today that's like the only thing you can wrap your head around. But even then, it seems like that's still such a far removed understanding of what really it was like that we will just never comprehend until literally we're visited by creatures from another place in the universe. Like that's the only way that we're ever going to understand that.
Yeah, that's what really blows my mind, I think, about the whole story, and just imagining these like years out, like on a boat, just like traveling across the entire planet, and looking for things that you don't know if they're there or not. You've heard tale that there's a passage of water that goes across this entire continent, but nobody knows for sure. Nobody's ever found it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to go look in this area that nobody's been to see if it's there.
Yeah.
I can't imagine just like thinking about being on like a ship and you're just like, we'll be gone for probably like 3 or 4 years, maybe.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
Yeah. I mean, it's very similar to the concept of like, hey, let's send people to Mars. It's like you're going to be gone. You're going to be between worlds for nearly 20 months. You're just on a ship. That's all. You can't go anywhere else. You're just on the ship. And then whenever you get there, we really don't know 100% what it's like. We think we know, and I guess in our case, we do have some visual evidence.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's even like, we heard that there's a planet that's over there. You're going to go up there and try to find it.
Well, actually, I guess it's actually more like you're going to go to Mars and then finding another planet, like halfway between here and Mars.
Yeah.
That's just out there floating and has people on it, and we've never seen it until now. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it is. Maybe. So like that was the time to be alive, I guess, right?
I don't know about that.
It depends on who you were.
Yeah, for some people maybe.
Yeah, some very few people.
So yeah, I was gonna say that led up to the other expedition I learned about that I think I text you about after I finished the story, and how it's maybe the craziest story I've ever heard about a thing that happened to people. And this expedition at least didn't involve like natives or people being tormented or anything. Good. It was just a bad thing that happened to a group of people on this trip. So yeah, Ernest Schackleton is the leader of the trip's name. He essentially had a whole thing where he was like almost the first person to the South Pole, but for one reason or another, he didn't like quite get there. He had to turn back, and then another guy was the first person on the South Pole.
Right.
And he decided that he wants to be the first person to go across the Antarctic.
Oh.
Entirely. Antarctica. And so he amassed a crew, and allegedly the ad, according to the story, he put out an ad to find these people to be on the crew, and it said something like, "We'll be gone for this long. It'll be cold. There's no guarantee that we'll survive."
At least he was honest.
Yeah. There's like, the video clarified like it's kind of like a rumor that was an ad. Like we don't have a record of this ad. It's just like, that's what we hear. Mm-hmm. Allegedly, that's what this ad said that was put out for it. But anyway, he got a crew together. He got funding for this trip, and that was something that I wanted to talk about as a quick sidebar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand, and I was curious if you had an answer. What would there be to gain from funding this trip? So it's not like because it's not like they're going to a place where it's like, oh, we discovered like a new secret trade route, or like we found these people that we can do this or that with. It's just, we're going to this, we know that it's a giant frozen wasteland, and the whole trip is we're going to go from one end to the other. So what would be to gain from a person who is funding this trip?
When was this?
Why would you fund this? This is 1916.
So this is like leading up to like the Roaring 20s, whenever you had people who just had wealth.
Yeah, World War I was just like kicking off, or I think had just recently kicked off whenever they were putting this together. Yes.
So my guess would be that you just had a bunch of rich guys who wanted their name on a bunch of things, and if they couldn't do it, they just wanted their name to be a part of it.
Like Billy funded the trip that was the first across the Arctic. You think?
Yeah. Or
because I couldn't fathom, like, you're putting up all of this money, because he got some like from the government a little bit, but it wasn't as much as he was like needing or wanting. So he got multiple private backers, and
I'm sure that there like there's some benefit in just having someone navigate it, as far as if no one's ever done it or never been there, then there's like the documentation of whatever he sees, or whether that be geography related, or animal, or weather related, some kind of knowledge is being gained. So basically, you're a person who's like saying, and I'm just this is all assumption, but I'm going to assume that you're kind of selling this as like, I'm going to go there, take a team, we're going to document things, as well as me just doing it to say that I did it, you know, but we're going to document things. Do you want to like sponsor part of that? You know, I'll give you the findings, or I'll take an instrument if you've made an instrument to go record stuff, or, you know, stuff like that. I'm sure that's part of it, but yeah, probably not enough to cover it all. And then the rest of it is very much just a rich guy going, hey, I did that, or I was behind that, or whatever, you know.
That was something that I thought was really interesting, thinking about, like, I can see like that Cook expedition. I can see like
that's just capitalism.
In funding that.
Yeah.
I can see, because if you find that Northwest Passage, then boom, you're fucking locked.
Yeah, exactly. That's just capitalism.
I was struggling to think of a rationale for like, I'm going to fund this guy going to Antarctica and trying to cross it for the first time. I thought that was just weird to me.
But also too, I mean, you know, I don't imagine that it was, here's a blank check. I'm sure it was like, you know, you've got to do this as cheaply as possible. You know.
Yeah, he was pretty much, from the story, he was pretty much trying to raise as much funds as possible, like up until like the day that they left, basically.
Yeah.
But anyway, so to try to make the 3-hour video that I watched compressed down to like a quick story.
What made it the most crazy? Quick. That's the key here. Because you've heard a few stories. Because I know that in the text you told me that like it was crazier than like the Hugh Glass.
Yeah, story. Or at least equal to or surpasses, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So the first thing was is they're on their way there, and they're going through the ice. Basically, the ship was created to be able to handle going through ice to an extent. But basically, at a certain point, the ship got frozen in, which Schackleton was kind of prepared for. He kind of came knowing like that's a good possibility that we'll have to like hunker down and wait for it to thaw.
It's gonna suck.
Yeah, so
we're just here.
They said that he hired several people were hired not for their like expertise or experience, but for their like entertainment value.
Oh.
They said that there were people who got interviewed for the expedition and they were not asked about like their history or like what they've done, and it was just like essentially what can you bring to the table?
Are you
like
fun?
there was a dude that had like a banjo and he got put on the crew, and there's like stuff like that. So
now,
because he knew that they were going to be stuck.
Okay, but wait. So what does Banjo Guy get out of this? As far as like he knows that he's about to go risk life and limb and possibly freeze to death just to play banjo for a bunch of other crazy people.
That's the other thing that I was wondering as well, in part because like, again, the Cook expedition, incentive for a lot of those other expeditions was there's tale that whenever you get to this place, there's like women that you can have sex with.
Sure. Yeah.
And that was the incentive for a lot of people on a lot of expeditions. And so obviously that's not a factor on this because they know they're going to Antarctica and they know that it's uninhabited.
And it's cold.
So I assume it must have been whatever the pay was or the notoriety. I have no idea. I don't know if they elaborated on that in the video.
So then that begs the question, how prolific was this banjo player? Because I can't imagine that he was working concerts all the time and getting paid regularly and then decided, you know what, fuck the limelight, I'm going to go to the Arctic.
Well,
or the
definitely
Antarctic.
Not. I was just a guy.
Right. So he's just a guy who can play banjo. And how is it any different than just someone learning banjo who's already going on the trip?
Well, they don't have time for that while they're out at sea.
Because who's going to entertain the banjo player?
I don't think everybody had their own banjo. I think that he was a guy who had one and could play it.
Well, no, I agree. No, I agree with that. No, yeah. But I'm saying, who entertains him?
The other people who knew other stuff, because it wasn't.
They all take turns. It's a variety show.
Yes, okay. It wasn't the one guy. They also had like, I don't know. They had other stuff. I don't remember all the details about all of the entertainment.
That's the most fascinating part of this. It's not like the brute force or like the scientist or the guy who's just crazy and wants to just explore. It's the people. It's the vaudeville acts that joined this team just to say that they performed on Antarctica.
Yeah, it's a crew.
That's crazy.
So essentially, at a certain point, they were hoping the ice would thaw, and it kept not thawing when they thought it would because the winter had passed, and like the animals that had left had kind of returned, and so they're just kind of stuck. But the ice is like hardening at a certain point, and long story short on that, it destroys the ship.
Oh no!
They kept sending people off to like chisel the ice out from around the ship, but as soon as they would do that, it would just harden up again.
Wow.
And they were writing in their journals essentially that like they kept hearing the boat like
get crushed.
Groaning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so over time, like at a certain point, there was like a huge crack that split all the way down the ship. And they were like, we got to get off this fucker.
Banjo player's like, oh shit, guys.
So they get off the ship, and again, I texted you, I don't know if you remember, they have a photographer because again, this is 1916.
Right.
And so they don't have to have like a guy painting everything. They have a guy with a camera taking photos. So there are photos of this. There are photos of the ship like tilted over as it's like crushed and like slowly sinking.
Wow.
That you can find if you just search like Shackleton, Antarctica.
The
ship was called
about
the Endurance. Not that I remember. I don't. It's not American history, so I don't know why.
The more you explain about this, I feel like I know this story actually now. But continue. It feels familiar.
So they were pretty much at a point where, like, well, our ship's gone, so we're stranded on this sheet of ice. Not on Antarctica, but before Antarctica.
So, wait, what was the plan? Was the ship going to go around the continent and pick them up on the other side? Like, what was the plan?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember that detail because they didn't get anywhere near that far. They never got to Antarctica, technically.
Yeah, true.
They got stuck in the ice on the way there. So, basically, they were like, well, we have to hoof it up to this point up here. So their plan was to get to the edge of the ice and get one of the life rafts, or they have 2 life rafts with them that they pulled off. And their plan is we're going to go up to the edge of the ice, get on the life raft, and get to this island that we know is up there where whalers will station. There's like a whaling station up there or whatever.
Get some help.
Or at least like whalers pass by there and we know that they can see us.
Is this near like South America? I'm trying to figure out like where on the continent.
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, I could actually show you specifically.
Because I know that like there's a really treacherous piece of sea.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that
good.
part of sea.
That's what I was wondering. Because like there's a
part
really
of sea,
treacherous like part of the ocean where like the temperatures or whatever of the 2 seas collide and it's like just hell all the time.
Yep, we get to that part,
and like a little dinghy, like a little like
so
lifeboat.
We'll see what happens. I forgot to say that they have dogs with them.
Oh, well, of course, yeah.
They have
sled dogs,
sledge dogs, yes, as they called them, because their plan, as the people who were the first on the South Pole, they plan on using those dogs to pull them across.
Sure.
So
it's really the dogs doing all the work, not the humans.
So, well, not yet. They've just kind of been like shackled up.
Don't they eat them or something? The humans have
been just camping. No, they don't.
Okay, different story.
Well, at a certain point, some of them, yes.
Okay. I have heard the story then.
So, basically, they're gonna try to walk across the ice, like I said, and so Shackleton gives the order, "Hey, you got to kill the dogs."
Oh,
because at this point, we need all the food that we.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense, but gosh, it's horrible.
Like these dogs are going to be taking up food that we need, essentially, and like this is just stuff that we have to care for. There were these fucking a litter of these puppies that were just born while they were there, like a couple weeks ago. And there's a photo of one of the guys actually like holding those 4 cute puppies. And so this dude got the order that he had to do that. So to skim past that really quick, the dogs get killed.
Yep. And
they actually in the video cited a part from his journal where he actually wrote like the job that I was given today was the worst thing I've ever had to do in my entire life. I can
imagine. Yeah.
And there were a lot of people on this crew apparently were like really angry at Shackleton because now they've been out there for like several months, and these dogs were kind of like
family,
like the only things that they have to like keep them entertained.
Well, that's what I was thinking, was that like, you know, you bring a fucking banjo player for like entertainment. The dogs at least are companion in some manner. So as far as morale on your emergency excursion to Whale Island, I would want to keep some of the dogs around just to be like, hey, it's at least someone to cuddle and pet. And you know.
A few different people were assigned like X number of dogs.
Okay.
And so like 2 groups of the 3 of dogs were killed. And essentially this one dude had to go back because they're not near the ship at this point. They're like a couple miles away.
Okay.
Because they're actually barely moving at all. Like they're trying to trek to this point to get on their little boats to go, you know, but they're only making like not even a mile a day.
Oh, goodness.
Because they're trying to pull these lifeboats with them also. And they said that they're basically what they were trying to pull through was like slosh. Like these things were just like digging down into the snow as they're trying to pull it.
We had an animal and multiples of those animals that could help us pull these.
Well, these things were way too heavy.
Well, still, every little bit helps.
So this dude with his dogs goes back to what was left of the ship, essentially.
So
that's
a
like
day's trip
there.
almost, right?
Well, no, not for him by himself, no.
Oh, right, yeah, because he's not pulling a big...
Just like a couple hours, probably.
Okay, sure.
So he goes back
that's gonna suck.
And grabs a few things and comes back. They decide, actually, there was a 3rd lifeboat. They decided to grab that while they were at it as well. And it's a good thing they did.
Oh, okay.
But they don't know that yet, because at this point it's kind of like we have to fucking pull another one of these now. But anyway,
but what was the decision? If they knew how heavy it was and hard to move, why did they even consider it?
I think he had them grab it just in case.
Okay, so at least there's some like forethought of like,
so
this
it was
is going to go worse.
Because they're at a point, because they're kind of at a point where it's like, where they're at, they know that there's like at a certain point the ice can just break at any moment, and we need to be able to use these boats like if an emergency happens.
Okay.
Because a part of like sleeping every night, they have to like make sure somebody is awake to make sure the ice doesn't start to crack around where they're camping.
Can they not just sleep in the boat?
Like in the lifeboat that they have with them? I mean, they could if they wanted to, I guess, but they're also out in the elements.
Okay. Oh, right.
So because they also have, they have also like stoves with them, and that's kind of what they're using to keep warm.
Yeah. Okay.
And so anyway, this dude gets back, and he had written in his journal, like, I guess essentially like the group of dogs that he had with them were like so exhausted that they like could barely stand, and he had written in his journal like, my dogs are going to have to be killed tomorrow.
Oh, no.
It's fucking awful.
Yeah.
So those were the last dogs that were left. And I was watching this video telling this story, and I was like getting ready to turn it off. I'm like, I mean, it's not like you're seeing anything, obviously, but just like, oh, God, I don't.
Yeah.
And thankfully, the narrator of the video is like, there's no more dog stuff. That was it.
There's no more dogs left. That's fine.
So the rest of the story, you don't have to worry about that. It's going to be okay from here on out for that.
Were they just not feeding the dogs at all? Is it the case?
No, they were, and that's why they decided to kill them, because like we can't afford to continue.
But the one that was like barely able to stand, is it like?
All it said was that they were exhausted. I don't know.
Okay, because I
mean,
as
far as I know, they continued to feed them and everything. Like
I was just confused as to like why they were able to keep going and not the dogs. You know.
Yeah, I don't know. As far as all I remember it saying was the dogs were exhausted.
Right.
So anyway, probably because they went like 2 or 3 miles to a place and then 2 or 3 miles back.
Yeah, that sucks.
But anyway, so to try to keep going. Also, the plans keep changing a little bit based on. So they have one navigator. And he has like a sextant, and like that's how they know where they are at a certain place in time. Right. And so Shackleton's plan of what they're going to do next keeps changing as far as like going to where we're going to go, like where we're trying to go, because they're on a sheet of ice that's also drifting and like shifting position.
Oh my goodness.
Day to day.
So everything's changing around them.
So like at first, the ice that they were on was drifting toward where they were hoping to go.
Oh, good.
In the first place. So he was able to like pinpoint, like, we have drifted like 400 miles in the direction we needed to go.
400 miles? Holy shit. Over like the course of how long?
I don't know, a few weeks probably.
Oh my gosh. They've been walking for a few weeks out here.
They've only walked like hardly anything at all, basically like a few miles, but the sheet of ice has drifted and shifted boat. This much. So, but then at a certain point, the drift had shifted and like everything changed. And so now they're moving like away from where they were wanting to go.
Yeah.
So he had to change his plan to like, I know that there's this island that's over in this area. We're going to try to go for that one now. And then like a couple weeks later, it changes again. Like, okay, we're going to try to go back to where we were going in the first place.
Oh gosh.
So it keeps changing. Anyway, they eventually get to a point where they are able to get into the life rafts. There are 3 of them, which thank God they had, because they didn't have enough space for everybody to get into 2 of them. And so this is where the guy in the video is like, and this is where the story really starts.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh God.
So wait, so how long has it been since they've left the ship and that they're now finally, I guess, where there's like water or like open ocean?
I don't remember exactly the time frame, but it's been definitely like several months, I believe.
Oh my gosh, that would
or
be
a few months, several months, something like that.
The most ridiculous thing already.
But their whole plan at this point, like their only goal at this point, is we just want to be on land. So solid land is what we need. We're on this ice and it's drifting and shifting where we have to worry about the fucking shit cracking every single night. All we want is to be on solid fucking land. And so anyway, they eventually get to a point where they're getting into the boats, so they're at a point where like the ice is definitely breaking apart around them.
Oh no.
And so they're at a point where they have to be on like shifts, like groups of them, to watch for the ice to make the call, like it's time to fucking go.
Uh-huh.
And so long story short, they eventually get to that point where they're like, it's time to fucking go. We're getting on these little fucking lifeboats and we're going to cross however many, I think they said, along with all this drifting, they land on, we're going to go to Elephant Island. There's pros and cons to that. Pros being it's solid land.
Okay.
It's kind of it. Cons
lots
being
of elephants. So many elephants.
That it's an inhospitable island. There's nobody there. There's nothing there. Whaling boats do not pass by this, so they would not see you on this island.
But it's not ice.
But at the point that they're having to do this right now, that is the closest location that they have.
And I'm guessing that they're in like rowboat, like they're manual, like there's no like a sail or anything. Okay.
Yep. Well, they do have a sail.
Okay, good.
A sail and oars are what they're working with.
At least it's not just them trying to like battle.
From what I can recall, okay, I think so. So anyway, they're like, all right. One of them is like a little bit better. One of them is kind of not great. The other one is not great.
As far as what?
For being on the open ocean.
Oh, okay.
So essentially they're trying to get to one of these islands. They're rowing and rowing and rowing. The dude uses his navigation tools. He sees like, we have not moved. Based on the location from where we started, because of the fucking wind, they technically are in the same position after that day of work.
Does that guy like, does he just really fight internally to be like, do I tell them? Or
I wondered that too.
Do I just lie? Do I just lie and be like, we moved a little?
So, oh man. So, to try to like, I mean, it's crazy, but to try to like speed past.
So wait, but well, who cares? So are they having to like anchor their rowboat at any point, like as far as at night?
Well, actually, at this point, I believe nope. They're just drifting, basically.
Is there nights though? Is it summer?
Yes.
Okay.
Nope, there is. It is specifically in the story. It is becoming night, and so it is pitch fucking black.
Enough months have passed that it's winter again, basically.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
And so it's pitch fucking black at night. So they basically like tied the boats together so they don't lose each other.
So let's all drift together is the idea. Yes. Okay, yeah.
And so after, I'm trying to remember the span of time. It's been like, I think at least a couple of weeks.
That's too long. That's just too long.
A week or a couple of weeks, basically.
I'm going to try to swim or die. One of the two.
Basically, like, as day broke, they could see Elephant Island this one day. Like, they had been blown closer to it.
Okay.
And they could see it, and it, like, rejuvenated them, and they're like, oh, my God.
We're
and so, long story short, on this portion, basically, they get there to the island. They get up on it. There's pictures from this moment. And essentially...
Dude still snapping camera shots of the...
essentially...
hold still, and cheese.
They stay there for like a day or something, and Shackleton's like, we gotta move. And
why?
Everybody's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
We just got here.
Basically, he realized that there was water marks, and he realized that like if there's a storm, this fucking spot floods.
Oh.
Like, and there's like nowhere to go. There's like cliffs around where they are, God. Essentially. There's nowhere for them to go, so that he's like, yeah, we got to get off of this spot. And so basically they reluctantly sailed about, I think they said like 6 miles downshore to another spot. They had no problems. They got to this other location.
The fastest they've moved in a year
basically
was 6 miles.
So they get to this other spot. They set up camp. They're relatively fine here, because like the conditions are horrible. Like the weather is obviously humans can't live on this island.
Yeah, but it's not ice.
It is solid ground though. So they're at this point, and they're kind of like setting up shop on this like little beach area.
Mm-hmm.
But they know, or Shackleton at least knows, like, but this isn't like the final stop because
there's no one here.
There's nowhere to go from here. Like there's nobody can find us here. So they're on Elephant Island, and he devises the plan that they're going to try to get to South Georgia Island.
Okay. Is that near Georgia? The state of...
No.
Okay.
It is not.
Okay. I didn't think so.
But from their location on Elephant Island, it is 800 miles to the northeast.
They did 6 in like 8 hours.
Yep. So, but he knows that that is where there are whaling stations.
Okay, sure. And
if they are going to survive, they need to get to that island. So he decides at least he is going to go. I'm sending you a screenshot from of where they are and where they're trying to get to.
Okay, let's see here. So, okay, wow. Is that the tip of South America over there?
On the left, yeah.
Okay, so this is exactly the spot of the ocean that I was talking about earlier about the...
Or it's not the tip of South America, it's like the Falkland Islands.
Which is basically off the tip. Okay, so yeah. But this is that strait. And I can't recall that strait, but it's like the worst ocean in the world.
Yep, the video made note of that multiple times, yeah.
South Georgia and the South Sandwich Islands, okay.
So,
wow.
He is like...
And that's 600 miles, you're saying?
800.
800 miles. It doesn't... Because... in the picture that you've screenshotted me, there's really nothing to scale this to. And it really doesn't seem that far. Until you look at like the actual scale on the bottom of the map that says 100 miles is like a quarter of an inch.
It's like a tiny little...
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
So,
okay.
So that's his plan.
Sure.
He has to have a group of fellas to go with him. So he decides he's going to go with him and 5 others, so a group of 6 of them.
Do you think the banjo guy is on this trip?
He is not.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I know for sure he is not.
But he's still alive. Has any of the crew died yet?
They have not.
Okay, nope. Good. Okay.
So,
some good news.
Essentially, he estimates that they should be able to make it to that island. It should take roughly 4 weeks.
That's not horrible. A month compared to what they've been through.
So he tells everybody that's staying behind, basically, if we're not back, or if we're not back with rescue by like whatever month it is, like later on, if like by the spring, if we haven't returned yet with somebody, then you guys have to figure out your own plan.
Figure basically.
It out. Essentially, more or less. So he has his carpenter dude with him, and he takes the best boat they had with them, and he basically like reinforces it as much as he can.
Mm-hmm.
He puts like a layer of stones on the bottom of it to try to stabilize it as much as possible. He builds like a platform on it. He puts like this and that on it. He tries to basically just make it like just do what we can with what we have.
Yep.
So they sail off. There was a picture of them sailing off,
waving,
and like the people on the shore waving to them.
It's awesome. It's bye.
There are pictures of
the
it.
Last time. So wait, did the photographer go with the boat, or no? He stayed.
He stayed.
So then, spoiler alert: it sounds like the photographer gets off the island, or gets, or at least gets back home,
or at least his photos were able to be salvaged. Yeah. So
his camera is found years later, floating on the shore of South America.
So at this point, we follow our Captain Schackleton.
Yeah. Okay.
Or I don't know if he was technically like captain, but they just refer to him as Shackleton. But anyway, he's in charge. They're on this little fucking lifeboat sailing across the most dangerous waters on the entire planet.
Yep.
And they are instantly bombarded with like a horrible storm.
Yeah. There's like storms constantly in that area.
Yeah, it's like hurricane force winds,
like
nonstop, no matter what. And so
it's a really fast sailboat.
There's
trip.
like nothing to block wind anywhere. It's just like hurricane strength winds at all times. And waves, yep.
And the water's like they are 40 degrees.
They're almost constantly having to like keep shoveling water out.
Oh gosh.
So basically he has it in shifts where 3 of them will be up and guiding and doing whatever they have to do, and the other 3 are like off duty, and they're essentially trying as best as they can to sleep underneath the platform that had been built, but they're sleeping on top of stones, and they're also like terrified at any moment we're just gonna fucking sink and die.
We're just gonna die. Yeah.
So essentially they're not really sleeping.
No, they're just resting their muscles.
And so yeah, they're just like battling that. They do have a sail.
Yeah.
But the dude he's not really able to navigate or like tell them where they are at any given point because the sun is like not out, and they can't use that to navigate. Also, it's very important also, if you're looking at your map.
Yes.
It's very important that they do not miss that island that they're going toward because
there's nothing else around.
If they overshoot it, there's not enough to this boat to be able to turn around against the currents and everything. So if they miss the boat, then it's 3,000 miles of open water and they're just dead.
Yeah.
They don't have enough food and water with them to survive. So if they miss that island, then they're just fucked.
They're on a bullseye mission.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this guy has only, at this point, they've been out there for like 2 or 3 weeks in a little rickety boat. And this guy has only been able to check because they've only seen the sun like twice.
Is this because of storms mostly?
It's just like cloudy and storms.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just bad skies.
And so there have been like 3 or 4 moments where the sun has peeked out from the clouds enough, and they're also on a rickety ass boat on these waters.
Yeah.
And he is trying to use the sun to pinpoint with his device where they are and how on track they are.
Wow.
So to hurry past this part a little bit more. They get hit with what Schackleton wrote in his journal. He wrote in his journal, he has been on the waters for like 26 years of his life. He's been doing like this and that he's been in this part of the world before, this and that. He said he has never seen a wave like this before.
Oh my gosh.
They described this like gigantic, like apocalyptic
just a
wave,
a mountain of water.
He said, because they were like looking out toward the horizon and they saw what they thought was a break in the clouds. And then he realized that this break in the clouds was a wave, a tidal wave.
Oh my gosh.
And as it's getting closer, he apparently said like, hold on, boys.
hold on, boys.
And I think that was the quote, actually, that they had written. It's something like that, like hold on, boys.
Wow.
And so it's actually speculated, apparently, like today it's believed that it was possibly like a giant glacier had collapsed into the water and caused this tidal wave.
Yeah.
So they fucking ramp up this humongous wave.
Sorry. Hold on. Sorry. For a second, whenever you said this is the first time or whatever or you said something and it made me think you were going to say like this is the first time in recorded history that someone said hold on to your butts or like something like I don't know why I thought that, but I was just like, wait a second. But you were mentioning about the
No, nobody has said that before Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
we know this.
Okay, so sorry. So they're going to ride the wave up.
Yep. They don't have a choice.
Nope.
So they ride this fucking wave. They go up it. They come down the other side. They slam down on the other side. They have to, as quick as possible, fucking get water out of the fucking boat.
But the boat survived.
They survived it. They don't know how.
Wow.
They basically just like held on and were like, this is going to hit the bottom. We're going to fucking die because this ship's going to collapse.
Shatter into millions of pieces.
It somehow, by magic, held. And they made it. And so I think a little over 4 weeks, they see South Georgia Island.
Oh, good.
They are aiming for... So they're at this point where they're aiming for the western side of the island. Shackleton said that way, because with the way the wind and the currents are going, if it blows them eastward, they are at least still going to hit the island.
Yeah.
So they can't really find a spot to land because there are jagged rocks all around.
Oh gosh.
And so they had to like stay another night in the boat, even though they're like right there, basically, against their better wishes, of course. But anyway, they do manage to land. This is where they like decided we have to land here. This was not what the original plan was. The original plan was to be able to land on the opposite side of the island, ideally, because that's where the whaling encampments are or whatever. And so they are now on the opposite side of the island from where the whaling stations are.
How far is this?
Like 30 miles.
Oh gosh, that's still a long ways away.
Still a long ways away, but also these are uncharted 30 miles. These are 30 miles that nobody has ventured across.
No man has ever set foot. Yeah.
These are 30 miles that nobody knows what's in between here and there. And so one of these dudes has like horribly frostbitten like toes and feet.
I didn't even consider that. Yeah.
So Shackleton has that guy and 2 others stay here, and Shackleton's like, the other 3 of us are walking.
If we're not back in a week.
And the guy who does this video reiterates at this part, he's like, there are mountain peaks through here that are like up to 10,000 feet.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yep.
On this little island.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's not a little island, it's an island, but still.
So, but they don't have a fucking option. And so he's like, well, us 3 are going for it. And so
we'll be back.
They say their goodbyes to the 3 who are staying behind.
Does the camera guy take another picture? No, wait, no. He's still back.
He's at an elephant island.
Yeah.
So, Shackleton and these 2 dudes make their way. They climb up a mountain peak.
Wow.
They don't have supplies. So the carpenter guy did the best that he could. He took their shoes and he hammered nails from their boat. He pulled like nails out of it and hammered it through the soles of their shoes.
Picks like ice pick style shoes. Yeah, okay.
Basically, yeah. For traction,
Wow.
So that's the best that they have. They don't have anything else. They didn't bring equipment to camp with. They didn't bring anything with them. They're just like, we have to do this in one shot. This is like this is all we can do. This is it.
Wow.
So the three of them walk up this mountain peak. They get up there. They see what's before them. They see that there's no way down. It's just a steep cliff. So they have to go back down like another path and like walk around and go up.
The guys on the boat see them coming back. They're back already. No, sorry guys, we're going to try again.
It's constant go up, realize there's nowhere to go down another side, like figure out where the fuck you're going to go. They essentially get to this one point where they're like kind of chiseling kind of steps down this slope to kind of like climb down. And Schackleton realizes like they've moved like a few hundred feet in like 30 minutes. And he's like, nope. And he's like, you know what we need to do, boys? And they're like, what? And he's like, we got to slide down.
Oh, going for a ride.
And the other two are just like, they kind of were just like, that's what, yeah, we have to. Like, we there's no argument that we're going too slow. And so they like makeshift, like tie each other together.
Yeah.
And they don't know. They're just fucking winging it. They could go to a fucking cliff's edge. They could fucking hit rocks. Who knows? And they just go, here we fucking go.
Here we go. Send it.
They slide down 1,000 feet in a few seconds.
Oh my gosh. Again, the fastest they've moved in like 2 years.
Yes. They crash into a snowbank, and then they just like collapse with like laughter. They're just like, what the fuck?
The most fun they've had.
Right? They're just like, can't believe that they're alive. So they make their way. They finally see these whaling stations. They walked. It took them, it was something like 36 hours. They walked over 36 hours blindly through these mountains, and they made it somehow out to the other side to this whaling station.
That's crazy.
And there were like people out there. It was the first time they had seen other people who were not in their crew in over 2 years.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I bet.
There were kids that were playing, it said, that saw them and screamed and ran away.
Horrible monster from the mountain.
These dudes were also just like black.
Oh,
from
frostbite?
like soot from burning like seal blubber.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Like all of these people, they're like covered in black. And they haven't bathed or any. Obviously,
they're just dirty.
There's no way to do it. So over 2 years.
Oh gosh.
So they showed up, and Schackleton had met this dude on this whaling station before, and so essentially somebody is like, "Oh my god! Like, where did you fucking people come from? There's nobody
over
comes
there."
From. Yes, literally. So he takes them like to their like captain or whatever at this whaling station, who again Schackleton had met before, and this dude is like, what are you people doing here?
Yeah,
he doesn't recognize him. Shackleton's like, I'm Ernest Schackleton. And the dude, according to the writing, it said that the dude like was like in shock and like turned and wept.
Oh wow.
It was like, oh my god, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
And Schackleton like basically told them everything that had happened, like what they had gone through, and like they're like, fucking go eat what you need to eat, grab what you need to grab, like get a fucking bath, please.
Yeah, you reek. This is horrible.
And so they like get them set up. They're like, okay, yeah, we'll get the other guys on the other side of the island. We'll like send a vessel. We'll find those guys over on the other island. And Schackleton, it said that he had written that this was like the worst moment of his life, this part right here, because he's like, every day that we're here is like another day that like everybody else that is waiting on us could be fucking dying.
Or even simply like doing something to get their position changed and
Right, so
having no way to tell anybody. Yeah.
They said that through this period of waiting, he got super introverted and anxious and started heavily drinking. And,
well, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. That makes the most sense, actually.
And so finally, they get this vessel together and they go around to the other side and they rescue those 3 people.
Awesome. How long did that take?
I don't remember, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it said that those 3 guys that were waiting over there, whenever the vessel pulled up, Schackleton and the other 2 guys that were with him, greeted them on from the side of the ship. They were hey,
yeah.
And those 3 did not recognize them
because they were clean.
Because they had cleaned.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's that white guy?
And so they get rescued. Great. And then so now,
they get on the ship.
So what's happened with the other people on Elephant Island?
Oh gosh, that's right. Yes. So these are just the 3 guys on the other side of
this is
South Georgia Island or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So we still have 3 people, or a group of I think 20 dudes or something like that
across that dangerous strait of water.
Yep.
Okay.
So there are these guys. Oh, I forgot this detail that he mentioned in the video. So remember I mentioned that giant wave that hit them? To really drive home how crazy it is that they survived that. I mean, which obviously it's fucking nuts that they survived
impossible.
that. But the guy in the video made note of to further drive home how crazy it is that wave did not kill them. There was apparently there's record of a 5,000 ton steamship that was also out on the waters on the other side of that island that fucking collapsed, that got destroyed by that wave.
Well, yeah.
That same wave hit this fucking steamship. Wow. And they survived it in this little fucking rickety lifeboat. So anyway, back there on Elephant Island, these dudes are just essentially just chilling. They're living off seals and penguins.
Hell yeah. Living it up.
They just don't know, obviously they just have no idea if anybody's ever going to come for them.
Sure.
Photographers taking pictures.
They were told X number of weeks if we don't come back.
By the spring or whatever it is.
Okay.
Whatever it was.
Then you're screwed. Figure something else out.
And I think this is we're in February, but whenever they get 2 rescues.
Yeah.
But so
summer technically.
Yeah. So essentially, I guess just to kind of speed past this part, the vessel does make it to them. Nobody died on this trip,
which is insane.
Yes. 20. I forget if it is. I want to say 28 people were on this journey. Yeah. Every single one of them made it home.
So they could have not killed the dogs, probably.
Debatable.
Okay.
But anyway,
that's crazy though.
It was an insane, and obviously there's a lot more that I had to just hurry past to not make this a 8-hour podcast.
Yeah.
But so there was a part where whenever the 3 lifeboats are on their way to Elephant Island, there was a point where a bad wave hit one of those boats and it was just gone.
Oh gosh.
And that was it. It was not there anymore.
Wow.
And so they also didn't sleep for, I think that I said 2 weeks before, 1 or 2 weeks for that trip. I think it was a few days because it was by the time they made it to shore the first time, they had been awake for over 90 hours straight.
Wow.
Because they just literally could not sleep because they're on a boat packed in with all of these other guys. They're hearing whales and they're terrified that a whale is going to breach underneath them.
Crush them.
They're the horrific conditions. They're fucking freezing cold. It's windy. It's snow raining.
Yeah.
So it was I think they said 90 plus hours of no sleep for any of them before they made it to the shore.
Incredible.
And that third boat fucking showed up while they were trying to find a place to land. That third boat somehow made it on its own. And they were also looking for a place to land and they found each other.
Oh, wow.
Because for the last day and a half or something, the other 2 boats are everybody on that boat fucking died.
Yeah, well, of course.
That wave.
Yeah, they're just gone.
And then somehow they made it.
Holy
and
shit.
Every person survived this trip.
Like, this has to be like one of the most unbelievable stories ever. Just because of how crazy everything is.
Really is,
like,
yeah.
Like, you would at least expect one guy to die.
Yeah, exactly. You know? My thought process was, we're going to get to this part of the story where, like, it's going to become like a cannibal story, is what I was waiting for.
Yeah. Just out of just survival. Just need to just, yeah.
And didn't happen. And again,
Dave's weak.
Everybody
were hungry.
The ship that the vessel they arrived in was called the Endurance. You can type in Shackleton Endurance Expedition.
I have heard of this.
And you can find the real photographs taken from.
Has this ever been made into a movie or a TV show?
I don't know.
Because the whole time you're explaining this, I can't imagine that it would ever get the point across of how epic this is.
Yeah.
Because it would either be just the sheer scale, both in time and distance, would be hard to capture. And then also the ridiculousness of the whole situation and the extreme conditions would be so hard to just capture for anyone to... But it would either be not as bad as it seems, or sorry, it would seem not as bad as it was, or it would seem fake and overdone.
Yeah, you know. So I'm looking for a movie right now. It looks like there is a documentary
called The Endurance,
but not a narrative film. It's called The Endurance.
Yes, I have.
In 2000.
I think I've either seen it or I've just heard of it. But as you were explaining all of this, I didn't remember the name of the boat or the ship. But it all sounded like something I had heard before.
And then, this video capped off with in, I think he said 2022. Ooh, 22 or recently. 23.
They made it back home.
The sunken Endurance was found. Like they were
really?
able to find it under the ice. Yeah, and were able to like locate it. Yep. And being how cold the water is, obviously, it's like perfectly preserved.
That's crazy awesome.
So yeah, you can find like videos of the Endurance under the water where it is.
Well, that was an awesome story.
It took longer than I had hoped, so sorry about that. Hopefully that wasn't...
I was into it. I don't care about anybody else. I was asking questions. So the pictures I sent you there at the end, those are from South Georgia Island.
Yeah.
And like that's from the whaling camp side of the island, looking south towards where they would have come from.
Yeah.
And like they are just like the steepest peaks and just like the most jagged terrain. I wasn't expecting the island to have those giant ass mountains on there, really.
I know, that's what I thought too. And the narrator of the video is like, there's peaks of like 10,000 feet. And I'm like,
on Google Maps, there's actually several location photo, like street views, like level photos from that island, all on that north edge where you're talking about like the whaling ships or camps are at. So clearly, like, no one's going to the south edge of that island still, as far as that goes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
There was also, like, the guy in the video made testament to, like, how... I guess it's apparently hailed as also the navigator. Like, what he did on this expedition is hailed as, like, one of the greatest feats of navigation, like, of all time. Because of this, like... Because of the devices that he had... Yeah. And the accuracy that he was able to fucking get them where they were trying to go.
It's borderline just luck.
Yeah.
You know, like not to downplay his skill level and his contribution to their
what a hack.
Survival. Yeah. But also the fact that like the amount of difficulty that he had to deal with, it sounds like, just makes you feel like that they really hit this island just out of luck. that he might have been steering them a little bit, but or the best he could under the conditions. But I think there was still a high probability that even with his skill set, they should have not found the island and, you know, just gone past it. That's crazy.
Well, tell that to him.
Well, I will. I'm going to write him and his family.
Yeah, you did decent work and all, but really, how much are you to thank?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really talk down the crazy feat that he helped pull off.
Was it really you that did this, or was it the simple fact that, you know, you got lucky? Yeah, because the island that you're talking about, you know, you said it was like roughly 30 miles across that they had to get to the other side to get to this whaling camp. But from Google Maps, just because of how isolated that island is, the island looks tiny.
Yeah,
until you zoom in and you're like, holy shit, this place is huge.
Another screenshot of where they landed their lifeboat up in there.
Yeah.
So that's where they landed.
Wow. Wild story. That was exciting.
It is crazy. I highly recommend the 3+ hour video about it. It's crazy.
I'm more into stories like that than I am like the Captain Cook thing was fascinating just because it's a part of history, I guess. And as far as like the importance, both good and bad, of what he did and what the crew did and what happened, there's a lot to take from that. But this is a story that really doesn't matter as far like it didn't change cultures. It didn't discover new land or whatever. It was just an expedition gone wrong. But for me, that's way more fascinating for some reason. It's because it's like the craziness of it and the fact that no one died. And then it was 2 years. So I was going to ask this earlier on. I guess this may be my last question. How long was it?
Make it a good one.
Supposed to take them to cross Antarctica?
That I don't recall either, unfortunately. I don't have an answer for that. There is a book I'll mention really fast. So the guy who did the video, he cited a few different books, but he said that there was this one book that he said was his favorite source because it actually had interviews with the people on the trip and like diary or journal entries from everybody involved and everything. It's called Endurance by Alfred Lansing. So anybody listening, if you've made it this far and you want to know more about this, check out the book Endurance by Alfred Lansing. I do plan on checking that out probably as my next book via Libby. I can listen to the audiobook. And I'm going to do that.
Sorry, I'm trying to quickly look up who the banjo player was on the expedition. Because I'm curious if he went on to be anyone of name. The banjo player on Ernest Shackleton's Endurance expedition was Dr. Leonard Duncan Albert Hussey.
Hussey, yep.
The team's is also the meteorologist. Okay, so he was doing something else other than simply playing banjo.
Yeah, I don't know if he was one that was specifically hired just for entertainment. Yeah. There were people that were, though, like people who were like good at cards and shit like
Shackleton that. Considered the banjo vital mental medicine. That's interesting.
Yeah, there was like one part whenever they're trekking across the ice to find to be able to get onto the lifeboats to go to the island. There was like a crazy part where like they found a bunch of seals, and they were one of the guys, like the second or the right-hand man or whatever, was talking to Shackleton like we should get as many of the seals as we can because we don't know how long this is going to take. And he dissuaded him from that.
Oh, really? Purely
because he was like, I don't want everyone else to think we're going to be stuck here for a long time. I don't want like
that's a good way to put it.
Because he was like balancing the mental condition of everybody with like every choice that he made. He was like taking into consideration like how would this action be perceived by everybody,
right?
Because he's trying to also keep their spirits up as much as he can, so they're not just fucking giving up. And it's just crazy to imagine. And he was trying to, according to the video, also like Shackleton himself was like remaining stoic and positive as much as possible, but like in his journal he's writing about like, I don't know how long we're going to fucking make it.
Wow.
But he's trying to convey fucking like confidence to everybody whenever he's in front of them. It's just nuts imagining being the leader of something like this and like trying to weigh the fucking like mental toll on everybody along with like what's best for surviving.
Yes.
It's just incredible to imagine.
And the balance, the constant balance of that, but also your own, because it's one thing to tell the crew guy, hey, let's not kill all the seals because that'll be a bad image, to everyone else. But you're also in the same situation, and you're saying that I'm sort of lying to these guys for the sake of just keeping them happy. But how
Making
do you
them feel better?
Yeah, but how do you keep yourself, in the right mental situation? That's crazy. So yeah, the banjo did survive. It's actually in a museum in Greenwich.
Oh, the banjo itself, yeah.
Uh-huh.
The boat, I forget what it's called, but the lifeboat that those 6 guys made across the water to get to South Georgia Island is also still, you can still see that.
But yeah, I was trying to find if he went on to, be like a renowned banjo player, but I guess he was known for his meteorology skills.
I want to quickly mention, I say that the little rickety lifeboat that they made it 800 miles across the most dangerous waters on Earth is still intact and able to see, and you're like, that's great, but this banjo,
the banjo
that was great.
Well, that banjo also went across those same waters, so I guess
the banjo player wasn't with those guys. He was just on
Elephant Island. It eventually did. I'm saying
no, he was just chilling. The banjo, you don't even know that that's the banjo. You're just hearing a story that it is.
Yeah, that's true. Actually,
somebody could have just put a banjo in there and be like, yeah, this is the one.
This is the one. Yeah. No, that wave thing is insane. But I really think that like it was probably not. Again, these guys really didn't have it as bad as they think they did. I think it was just that the size of the boat actually helped them. The fact that the boat was so small, or the life raft or whatever it was, right, was so small that it could simply ride the wave.
Yeah, evidently.
Like that was probably the only thing that benefited them for having such a small vessel to be in.
And just like luck that it didn't shatter.
Well,
to
that
pieces
too. But I mean, but like anything bigger would have probably easily have just been destroyed because it would have broke.
As was the case for the steam.
Yeah, exactly. The big steam ship. Yeah. Wow, that was really really interesting.
I got like obsessed with that. I got home from work and I would like watch half of it one day, half of it the next day. It was like and then I was at work. Whenever I was like at the halfway point of the video, I was like at work thinking like I want to get home so I can finish the story. It's so fucking crazy and amazing. I don't know. These expedition stories are like blowing my mind. It's like a whole like slice of history that I don't really know much about. Like all
the
this.
banjo.
The fact that was also just like barely over 100 years ago is crazy.
Oh yeah, no, like it's not like
because it seems like the kind of story that would be like in like 1788. No, this is like they got home and World War I was happening.
Yes, and
most of these guys went into the war.
Yes, so I just
right
read
after getting home.
So the banjo player, that's where I was going with this. He went into medicine whenever he came back. And at the end of World War I,
he hung up his banjo for one
basically,
last time.
And he started to practice general medicine, and then in World War II, he joined the Air Force, the Royal Air Force, as a medical officer. And in 1949, he wrote his own book, or he published his own book called South with Endurance. So he has his own book about this experience. Crazy, awesome. That's cool.
The photographer went on to be like a really prolific photographer in both world wars.
Yeah.
Before he passed away.
That's crazy too. I mean, like there's all these different characters. I mean, Schackleton is obviously like Schackleton, right? Shackleton.
Yeah, Schackleton.
He's like clearly like the hero of the story as far as his decision making and just the, I guess, tenacity to survive and keep his crew alive, or his fellow crew. But I'm also really curious about like every single other person, like their perspective, how they made it through. I want to know about like the photographer. I want to know about.
There was this Irishman named Tom Crean who is apparently like really pivotal to the journey and to the morale. It said the guy in the video that I watched, he said that Tom Crean was like his favorite one out of this whole story.
Really?
He was like, he never broke at any point. He was always like the strong fucking like keep everybody together and like upbeat as much as possible. There was like tales while they were on that rickety boat crossing that ocean. Like one of them, I think they cited, had written in his journal about how like while he would be the person writing the journal had written like while I was like underneath the deck trying to like rest, he could hear that Tom Crean guy like up there like singing Irish songs and stuff like that.
Just keeping the mood as light as possible.
And like whenever it was time for the shift change, there was a story where like one of the guys got up there and he like turned with a smile and he was like, "What a day," or some shit like that.
Living the dream, boys. Living the dream.
It's crazy.
Fascinating.
So yeah, that dude was
I guess cool. I'll have to watch that.
He started a restaurant in Ireland that I looked up, and it is still there. Yep.
Wow. So that's
Tom Crean.
That'd be a cool. I assume that he's passed away.
Yeah, a few years ago.
Okay. But that'd be a cool restaurant just to go to, just to kind of have that legacy, I guess, be a part of your story.
Yeah.
They only serve like whale blubber though. That's all they serve. It's just like the most fatty food, no taste. Like no,
he got back and he was just like, "That's the only thing that I have an appetite for."
Yeah,
he got the hunger just for blubber.
Whale blubber is always
awful.
That'd be horrible. That would be horrible. But I could understand it too. All right, I guess we should do a normal show.
Debatable, but I guess maybe it'd be for the best.